What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 21. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the OK Beast Blessing, Adeoye Jr.
What's up, Greg? Sirens are on our end.
God damn it. I was wondering if you could hear them. Yeah, we can't escape sirens in San Francisco. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we're here recording from a house in this pandemic, and sure as shit, literally, Kevin's like, all right, intro starting. I hear the sirens start out there. You know what I mean? Hey, that's why we need a superhero, Bless. That's what we need here. Where's our Batman? Let's start right there, Bless. On what will be a discussion-filled episode of PS I Love You XOXO. Does it surprise you that there aren't more / a successful real-life superhero yet? Because I know there was the whole thing. I remember in like the early 2000s.
That's a loaded question.
There were these people who ran around in costumes and like they were on TV and people were like, "Oh, look at their superhero. They're being heroes in their community." Sure, I don't mean that. I mean somebody who legitimately dresses as Batman and like fucks
somebody who fucks people up.
Yeah,
superhero kind of implies the existence of superpowers, and I think that's where things go wrong, right? Because like there are very few heroes that are Batman or Arrow or Iron Man, right? Like those are heroes that created their skill set themselves, right? Like those are people with either money or very strong hands that they can throw. And so, like, you know, superpowers, as far as we understand, as far as we know, aren't necessarily a thing that exists as we understand them to exist in superhero movies.
So then, okay. I rescind the question and reformat it to be, are you surprised there's not more costumed vigilantes?
I feel like there might be more. We just don't see them or hear about them.
No, you hear about them. Like every time you hear about the real life hero people that are dressing up, it's just a bunch of people who like to cosplay and like go out there and walk and patrol the streets. I'm talking about why isn't there somebody? And I'm not saying there needs to be, but where is the Grabbler's counterpart? Where is the person who just wants to stop crime and is out there seeing drug deals and runs over there and throws stuff at people?
I feel like then we get into the chicken and the egg situation, because like for there to be a Grabbler's counterpart, there has to be a Grabbler. And as far as we understand, right, like the Grabbler hasn't been active in quite some time.
As far as you know, the Grabbler hasn't been active. You know,
we haven't seen the news stories. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I also think the thing is that like for us to be able to read the news stories about the costume vigilantes, they also have to be successful. And I think that's where the issue is that we're not getting enough successful superheroes.
Exactly.
I think a lot of them are failures. A lot of the ones we see are going out there and fucking up. Either getting hurt or hurting others. I'm gonna be honest. I don't keep my ear to the ground of a superhero vigilante community. Sure. But that's the vibe I get.
Interesting.
You know, so the sad thing, Greg.
What's that, Kev?
There are real world supervillains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Whitta.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PS I Love You XOXO. Each and every week, Blessing and I come together to nerd out about PlayStation with you. A whole bunch of you like that, and we like you for liking it. Remember, you can get the show over on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where you can submit all your questions, comments, concerns, your PSN profiles for our perusal. But most importantly, you can get the show ad-free. You can get it along with the exclusive post show we do each and every week. You can watch it live as we record it most days. We're doing it out of order here in the States on Monday, our usual recording day, that we have the day off. It is Memorial Day, right, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Memorial Day and Labor Day, I struggle to keep straight.
Yeah.
Memorial Day starts the summer, Labor Day ends the summer. So we're not recording on Monday, we're recording on Friday, which means that if anything happens, if there's big PlayStation news Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which are all holiday days from here on out, Bless, we might have to record a pickup at some point and insert it.
I'm down, man.
Okay. So we're not doing it live.
Very rarely happens on a Saturday or Sunday, but I feel like Monday is always usually a big news day.
It's usually Tuesday morning, but like even for Monday, like Monday is a holiday here in America. Like PlayStation understands that they're not going to do nothing crazy. Not to mention,
like if something happens, I'm willing to answer the call. I'm willing to be that vigilante for PlayStation.
That's what we need. We need you out there in your outfit. Of course, if you have no bucks to toss our way and support us on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, it's no big deal. You can get the show for free, youtube.com/kindafunny. Of course, it has an ad. It doesn't have the post show. You can also get it on your MP3 service of choice. On podcast services around the globe. Housekeeping for you. By the time you hear this, guess what, everybody? It's Kinda Funhaus week. We are doing a bunch of crossover content with our friends at Funhaus. You can catch them on Games Daily. You can catch them on We Have Cool Friends. You can catch us over on Dude Soup and Let's Plays and all sorts of things. So Kinda Funhaus week is all this week. Check out the crossover content. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Mohammed Momo, Al Tribesman, The Predator, James Hastings, I have no name for you, Sancho West Gaming, Cody Bakes, The Secret Agent, Trent Barry, Julian, the gluten-free gamer, Joseph O. Youssef, and Scott Radloff. Today, we're brought to you by our sponsors, MeUndies, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start this episode of PS I Love You XOXO with a beer.
Oh man, I didn't know this was coming this early. Man, let's do it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, everybody. Like I said, we are recording this 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. All right. That means, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of stuff to talk about as always. And I think it was last week I talked about how great the questions have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, this week just stellar. I can't. Are you okay? Have you ever drank a White Claw before? Are you okay?
No, I didn't realize how much it would fizzle. So like I took
the first White Claw. It's okay. You can admit it.
Yeah.
Oh. So no, y'all gave great questions, but here's the thing: I didn't feel like going into the old rigmarole. Blessing's got a great this week's X's and O's topic for us to go into here, but there was a question I thought would pair well with some alcohol and just sitting here shooting this shit with you, Blessing. All right. So here, first off, Bless, cheers to you. All right, there you go.
By the way, I can say I don't just have this White Claw. I have like 4 different drinks on my side of the screen. I have this mango White Claw. I have coconut water. Just because
stay hydrated.
Yeah,
sure.
Stay hydrated. I have tea that I made that I put whiskey in.
Okay,
this is a new thing I'm doing. I'm doing. So I've been rocking this, and then I got a big old jug of water.
Wow. Okay.
And so I'm trying to get lit, but I'm also trying to like take care of myself.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. I understand that. Branddnh H wrote in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can, and says, as we approach the end of the generation, what are your favorite PlayStation 4 memories? And I thought, it's Friday. It's beautiful. We are here on arguably what has to be close to being the eve of the announcement of the PlayStation 5 event. Where the fuck is it? What is going on? But at any moment that could drop. That, and by the way, that is what I'm always hinting at, of like, if something happens, if over the weekend they announce finally, if something leaks, but I thought to ease us in here, enjoy our thing here, kick up our heels, enjoy our Friday afternoon, Blessing. Have you cleared your mind and answered, what are your favorite PlayStation 4 memories?
So you kicked this question to me about an hour or so ago, so I could get prepared for the show, and I had to like sit down and really think about it, because if we're talking about PlayStation memories and PlayStation moments, that goes beyond the games, right? Like that's not just game releases. That's moments in general, right? And for me, when I think of video game moments, I think of E3. And so the one I immediately went to when you asked this question was E3, I think 2015. It had to be 2015. Where it was like this back-to-back slate of announcements. It started off with The Last Guardian, then it went to Horizon Zero Dawn, the first unveiling to that. Of that, and then there was Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then there was Shenmue 3. An E3 that like I believe blew us all away at the time.
Oh yeah, that was the year of dreams, right? That's when Tim flipped out there for the first time, I think.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that was one of those ones where it felt like PlayStation couldn't lose. Like PlayStation had, and I checked, it's for sure E3 2015. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, that's the one where it felt like PlayStation was on top of the year, on top of the world, right? Like, the fact that they were able to bust out so many juggernaut announcements at the same time, right? And this is like throwing out like the reception of the games out the door, because I know like Shenmue 3 has. Oh
yeah, no. Put yourself back to this moment, right? We're in this moment where you don't know how any of these games are going to shake out.
Yeah, like hearing the words Final Fantasy VII Remake and seeing that cinematic, was crazy for so many fans. Seeing the return of The Last Guardian, which had been missing for forever, what felt like forever, because that was revealed for PS3, and they just went silent with it for so long. Seeing that return felt like magic. Seeing Shenmue 3 felt like magic. Like there are so many moments in that E3 press conference that, for me, made that conference probably the most memorable E3 conference, period.
Yeah.
I'll put it up there.
For sure. And I think, what is so fascinating and funny to talk about, because I want to give credit where credit's due. Branddnh H's question's actual verbiage is, as we approach the end of the generation, what are your favorite PlayStation 4 PlayStation memories? Which I do, as you're interpreting it, and I think, just to put it out there, interprets both games and things surrounding PlayStation.
Yeah.
And when you want to talk about what a crazy fucking life cycle the PlayStation 4 has been, right? And you can go as far back as, I would say, that first E3, not the February event was cool for PlayStation 4, but the E3 right where it was Jack Trent and throwing hands. You know what I mean?
E3
Just like this,
yeah.
and like having to stop for the thunderous applause as they dunked all over Microsoft's corpse. Like for you to bring up E3 2015, right? And I was like, oh, that was the start of Year of Dreams, as we kept joking around about it, or Tim kept joking around about it. You look at then E3 2016, right? And it was just as fucking ridiculous. The E3 2016 is when God of War is revealed, when we learn what God of War is, right? Where they open it up and it is out there, Atreus, who we didn't know at the time, playing with his figures, and then the boy. And then walking in and it's time to hunt, and everybody fucking flipping out about this game, right? And on top of that, Days Gone being revealed. Last Guardian gets a release date. There's a whole bunch of trailers here. Resident Evil in VR, PlayStation VR gets a release date, right? And then they run through what the games were going to be for that. And again, remember, whether you care about it or not, it was here's PlayStation VR's release date, and it's getting Star Wars Battlefront content. It's getting a brand new Batman game from Rocksteady, right? Then it was moving on and beyond that. Where was it? The Spider-Man, right? Insomniac Games revealed a new Spider-Man game coming exclusive to PlayStation 4. The original storyline will not be based on a upcoming Marvel film. Like, it's hard to believe that was there, and I remember that, right? Like, and I remember that being such a fucking moment. But
and that was such a big thing too, that Spider-Man reveal, because it was Insomniac, and it was footage that we all assumed was like cutscene footage, which
there was a big argument about it, right?
right after they were like, oh yeah, no, this is gameplay, and everybody was like, this can't be gameplay, and sure enough, right, like that's how the gameplay is, right? Like the game is all about the actual game has great parkour systems that work exactly as shown in that trailer. Like that 2016, honestly, like 2015 on, up until I guess their last E3 press conference, which I believe was 2018 or 2017. No, it's 2018. Which one was the one?
29. This was their second E3 they would have skipped in 2020. So 2018.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right.
This
so
is
2018.
Movie between the barn and the flute and everything else there.
Yeah, like that was the E3 that was like, okay, this is, for me, I was like, this is pretty cool, but for the most part, it's kind of questionable for like the pacing of it and the overall announcements of it. But like 2015, they really established something with what their E3 presence was. It might still be if they ever come back to E3. Like 2015, 2016, 2017, like those years for PlayStation and E3, and I guess 2013 also, because 2013 was a banger E3. Like they had something this generation with E3, which kind of makes me sad that they've stepped back from it.
Totally.
It especially makes me sad thinking that like we might not actually get that again.
Yeah. And that's the heartbreaker about it when you think of anything. And again, having this all wrapped up, even right now, as we're talking about it, I feel like you have to. I've thrown up the Kind of Funny talks over the E3 2016 press conference, right? And I jumped ahead to just see the reaction of Spider-Man, right? And Tim losing his fucking mind as it starts. And as we all did, right? And as that audience did, like, that's what is... I don't want to say heartbreaking, because obviously quarantine and COVID are a million problems of their own, right? With real issues that we always talk about. But it is this thing of like, to imagine right now a PlayStation 5 reveal that doesn't have that live audience, that doesn't have, that E3 mentality of everybody flipping out about the price or what it's going to be or the specs or some unannounced game, like in person, in the room sucks. Like, it's going to be great for reaction videos, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome, whatever they show. But I love this idea because I still love getting those goosebumps watching this stuff. And part of it is watching this stuff, but hearing the crowd. And I remember being in the crowd and being those reactionary people that were happening.
I just sent Kevin a video from Eurogamer on YouTube that's called "The Moment Sony Won E3 2013," which, if there's a way, Kevin, you can pull that up, because like I think this video encompasses like the momentum that PlayStation 4 had from its launch up until now. Right, like it was that 1-2-3 punch of Jack Trent coming out and being like, oh, and this is also like for context, right after Microsoft went and Microsoft announced their price for the Xbox One, which is $500.
Oh yeah, oh my god,
Kevin, if you could press play.
Of new titles in addition to creating an amazing library of new titles on PlayStation 4, we're equally focused on delivering what gamers want most.
Kev's bringing up the volume and rewinding, I believe. But yeah, this is, what I'm talking about, of Jack Trent totally fucking dunking on Microsoft's body.
I think the video is just extremely quiet. It's at 100%.
Just extremely quiet?
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sorry.
If you can't bump it up, sorry, everybody. We tried.
I could hear it pretty well.
In addition to creating an amazing library of new titles on PlayStation 4, we're equally focused on delivering what gamers want most, without imposing restrictions or devaluing their PS4 purchases. For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers.
Which they must have made the slide like the day of, or the day before. And like Jack Penn just like standing up there, just like taking it all in.
And it's that thing where I think if you listen to it and it sounds soft on your end, like I can't remember if I was in the room for this one. I think I was in the room for this one. But like it's deafening when you're in a room like that.
We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game.
I couldn't have been in the room actually. I bet IGN still have me doing
at retail. Sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
Yeah, and like part of this is the fact that Xbox kind of handed it over. Like Xbox loved their marketing so much that this is kind of a slam dunk. But this still is such an amazing moment.
And I love how he just lets it play. You know what I mean? Because like you know, during these things you want to keep going, but he just sits there and basks in the applause, the cheering.
PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. Or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically. And it won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours.
The laughs in the crowd, like the chuckles that they just know they're going for the jugular.
I'm hoping this video, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if this video includes the price. No, it doesn't, I guess. But right
when they get there,
right after that, though, he goes into like, the PS4 is also going to be $400 and all this stuff, and people were going crazy in the audience.
If you didn't live that moment, if you don't remember that was the thing. And I remember talking to people who are no longer at PlayStation, but were at PlayStation at the time, and were in rehearsals and were working on that behind the scenes and having those conversations that, you know, they watched Microsoft's presentation earlier and were just like, it was one of those like slow fist pumps of like, oh, we fucking got them. You know what I mean? The fact that they had all this built in, they didn't have to worry about it. And I'm sure some of the slides, you know, got whipped up or whatever, but for knowing already have what their layouts were, watching the reaction, everybody had what the Xbox One was at launch or what it was going to be at launch, where it was incredible for sure.
Yeah, and then there's also that video of Shuhei and Adeoye doing how to share games on PS4 thing.
Yeah, which I love, and I really wish they would have played during E3. It would have been such a break. It wouldn't have made any sense. Like the way they just did it was obviously great and perfect, and you know exactly what it needed to be. But I remember, this is how I know I wasn't there, because I remember watching it in that they posted that live when that got announced, and someone in the IGN war room sending it out. Like, holy shit, look at this. Oh, yeah. It was just this victory dance on top of them. And that was like, you know, we always talk about first impressions, especially, and I think it matters now more than ever as we get ready for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, right? But you talk about first impressions and you look back at PlayStation 3 and it was, you know, $599 US, Ridge Racer, giant enemy crabs, you know, and like you'll get a second job kind of shit. And then you look at this one, this generation, and it was PlayStation 4 admitting they were wrong, or PlayStation admitting they were wrong about PS3 and PlayStation 4 would be better, and then coming out and just like it's a knockout. Like there was no way, I think, unless, especially considering first party lineups, there was no way Xbox could come back from that. The only way it could have worked is if they were in a different spot, where I do believe they are now, where, you know, they have, 12 or 13 studios of their own now, that Phil Spencer's, you know, grown and given the resources and shown all the stuff to where I think Xbox Series X is going to have a very, very interesting first party lineup, whereas Xbox One didn't.
As far as like big stage moments, do you think we'll ever get that again? Like, do you think we'll ever have an announcement like that again that feels that way, you know, with crowds cheering and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, do you mean specifically about services and about like comparing yourself to the competitor, or do you just mean like an E3 kind of?
I'm talking about like that caliber of reaction from fans about an announcement.
Yes, 100%. Because you figure Yeah, because it'll be about when it's Naughty Dog's logo splashes up and it is Nathan Drake or whoever, you know what I mean? And it is the new Uncharted or some shit like that. Like, if you show that into an audience, if you show Spider-Man 2 to an audience, like, you'll get that again. And I do think that, like, service-based stuff will be there if they, you know, if you announce a cool price or whatever. I don't know if I think that's one of those once in the industry kind of moment, like dunks on somebody else that I hadn't seen before, and I don't know if I'll ever see again. But I also don't know, the way people compete now is way different than the way they did before. And it is more of a collaborative environment, even though obviously, you know, everybody wants their console to be sold, you know, be the one you buy. I still think that was one of those moments that is such a perfect storm. And I think that kind of shit, we talk about that a lot, but there's very few examples that go above and beyond that in terms of, like, look at what this was and the way they were able to pivot and they were able to come out just hours later, right after Xbox did their showcase, and be like, actually, here's what the future is going to be. And then, you know, and then on top of that, what I've always talked about, you know, for Xbox to then back down on it and show that even they didn't believe in it. That's what I've always talked about with it, that I would have loved at this generation. Granted, I think the team they have now is great. I think where they're going with Series X is great. I would love the alternate universe where that happens and Xbox's response isn't to back down from it. They go, listen, we think we're ahead of the game on this, and we're gonna prove to you this generation why this family share plan, always online, the way we're talking about this is the right way to go, and in the end, it's gonna be a better way than PlayStation. Right? Like, yeah. I think that would have been a fascinating way to do it, because even like one of the things I've always kicked around with you, right, is like, I would love to go back and do a reacts to the PlayStation 4 February event, to what the first PlayStation 4 E3 conference, right? And see how many of the predictions and games and things like that came true. Because even there, where Jack's like, you know, you don't have to be connected online. It's like, well, you kind of did, but, you know, you have to go on at least the first time and say, hey, this is my master unit. And like, that was something people didn't know for a long time. I remember when it was like a year and a half after the launch of PlayStation 4, and people were still like, what the fuck? I'm trying to play the network's down, or, you know, internet's down, I can't play. I'm like, well, yeah, even though you think that's your main unit, you have to tell the PlayStation Network that's your main unit. Like, and they've even gotten better with that now. I think when you sign on and attach account, things change like that.
And also like day one patches and stuff. Like, we're at a point now where video games have evolved and become so different than what they were in 2013, that if you had that, if you came out with the same messaging at this E3, which I guess I'll say in quotes this E3 since there's not this E3, but if you came out this year and had similar messaging of, hey, yeah, like your consoles are gonna be continuously connected online, like that's how they're gonna have to function, like there'll probably be some backlash, but definitely like nowhere near the backlash that there was in 2013. That felt like a brand new idea. That felt like a thing that was kind of being imposed upon us. Now it's kind of a thing where we kind of all accept it, because for the most part we all play online games, we all interact with online services. Like there are of course exceptions, there are of course parts of the world where
there's outliers, there's all sorts of stuff,
where internet like isn't accessible in certain places, but like for the most part, if you came out and said the same thing, it would be a lot more easily digestible or digested by people.
And I think, again, that's why I think it would be interesting to see if Xbox would have stayed the course. You know what I mean? How much would that have cost them in the long run? Because I think they made this, you know, knee-jerk reaction. Again, I don't think they believed in their own vision. Knee-jerk reaction to get out of it. And so then you're always playing catch-up. Whereas if you would have said from the jump, this is why, and we're going to prove it matters to you, we're going to prove it works, would have been maybe a different ball of wax. Maybe it totally would have blown up and there wouldn't even be another Xbox. They'd be like, we're out of this business. It makes no money.
I just sent Kevin another video of a different favorite PlayStation 4 memory that I have. Oh, he's already got it up. Kevin, let that play.
What's impressive about that is while we were talking, Kevin sent me a photo on a text. That's a photo of a home run in pizza inside a grocer's freezer case. And it says, my local Lucky sells this now, which is, I need to know that. You know how much I love my home run in frozen pizzas, Kevin. It's just an interesting thing to drop in the middle of a show.
Kevin, is your local Lucky my local Lucky?
Yeah, it's the same one. I kept forgetting to send it to you. And like right now, I was like, oh shit, there he is. I don't know if you're aware that they sell them here.
I wasn't aware they sell them at that Lucky's now.
Okay, well, but all right, ready?
Yeah.
Play it.
Jesus, this one too.
Yeah, man.
Does
it not sound?
No audio.
私から直接皆さんと話したいと思い、
Kevin's trying to fix
working on it.
Sorry, there's audio on our end. You guys want to hear him talking Japanese?
No,
I guess, well, yeah.
I can move it so you can read the subtitles.
Well, I mean, we can already read the subtitles. It's just, I just
want to talk over it. But
so real quick, to be clear, then, since I can't hear anything, he's talking Japanese.
Hold on.
Because then I should, for the audio listegear,
Stop
while we just sit
freaking
here.
out.
for context, right? This is from the end of 2015. This is after Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain came out, and there was that whole
Kojima breakup.
Kojima breakup that he was having with Konami, right? Because there were reports of him not necessarily having the best working conditions at Konami, and of course MGS5 came out, and you can kind of see like within that game where some of that tension might have led to certain design decisions in that game. But yeah, like by the end of that year, Konami and Kojima were pretty much separated. It was this big thing. This video came out, I believe, like December of 2015, like a few months after MGS5.
Yeah, this is Andrew House talking. I have with me today the creator of a distinguished franchise. He is one of the most creative talents in the history of games. Now Kevin's muted it. No, he did a bit. Please, everyone, welcome Hideo Kojima. Hello, everyone. I'm Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
You know that I've established my own independent studio today, and I'm excited to tell you that the first title from this new studio is a collaboration with PlayStation. I'm thrilled to embark on creating a new franchise with PlayStation that will give you all a new and innovative gaming experience. So please stay tuned. This is very exciting, says Andrew House. All game fans.
Andrew House is smiling so big too.
Dude, it was the thing. Remember, because you remember this and all the memes that came out of it of like find somebody the way that looks at you the way Andrew House looks at Kojima, and it's true because again, it was like such a fucking perfect move. You know what I mean? Like again, like you're talking about of like coming off Metal Gear Solid 5, which was a great fucking game. You know what I mean? What a goddamn game! But knowing how much drama there had been with Konami, knowing everything that had been going on, not even I say knowing like we really knew, hearing what we all heard, knowing what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And to see PlayStation come out, make this partnership with them and in the same breath go, hey, here's the way it works. Actually, Kevin, while you're here, will you click down on that Shoe Adam Boys video? I haven't watched the here's how you share a PlayStation 4 game in quite some time. Bottom row all the way to the right.
That window's closed, so give me a second, I'll grab it.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, that was yet another flex moment like this, and that's the thing I guess about it. Where what's been interesting is that I think they flexed so hard in the beginning of the PlayStation 4 era, which with stuff like this, which was perfect.
Within like the first 3 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about even at like announcement, right? Of like what we just saw with Jack Trenton, and now as we'll see here, as Kevin's gonna play the 21-second video from Shoe Adam Boys.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
That Killzone Shadowfall.
Step 1. Sharing the game.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
God, what a fucking
so good.
And that's the thing is they came out so hard on it, and then they didn't really do it again because they didn't need to. And then I feel like they've just been on such an upward swing the entire way. And it's crazy to think about like PlayStation's dominance, the number of units sold, the continuing proliferation of their first party games, and then to sit here as we just did and talk about, all right, well, no, they skipped this E3 that would have been this E3. They skipped 2019, and in 2018 they showed Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, they've been showing for so long now the same games while still giving us, new stuff here and there, but still showing they shared their first party slate so early, it seemed like. And I'm dropping Death Stranding in there too, where remember when we saw that, especially coming off that Andrew House video, the first time we saw that, then we kept seeing more of it, not knowing what it was. It seemed like that game was going to be even further out than it was. PlayStation laid out this roadmap and has been so successful that they haven't had to really adjust it or really tell you anything new about it. They've had no real pressure from Xbox to actually like shake them from that, the rails they're on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that would kind of shake them at this point might be like their own selves, right? Like I don't necessarily see competition from Xbox affecting how PlayStation operates in a major way. Like if Xbox came out next generation and was super successful, I don't think like Xbox could come out and be so successful that Sony goes like, oh fuck, we got to change things up. Oh shoot, we got to like we got to change course. I think the only thing that would make Sony do that at this point would be for somehow like the PS5 launch to go totally wrong, for them to go the way that Xbox did during their Xbox One launch, where it is like messaging is totally fucked up. You know, like the games aren't there. People are upset for whatever features that you put in there, right? This DRM stuff. Like, I feel like that is the thing. Those are the things that would need to happen to make PlayStation go like, oh shit, we need to rethink what we're doing right now.
And I think, it goes back to what we talked about last week on PS I Love You, right? Of like, does PlayStation first party studios or PlayStation studios take enough chances? And the answer, is up for debate. And thank you so much for having those conversations with us on Twitter and comments and message boards. But the proof of it is PlayStation, as you said, Bless, is defined. You know what you're getting out of a PlayStation exclusive for the most part. Obviously, there's outliers, there's Gran Turismo, there's all sorts of stuff. But you're getting a story-based, single player, usually third person action adventure game, right?
Yeah.
And I think what you're talking about makes sense of is what would Xbox do to shake that up? They wouldn't. Hopefully they come out and compete in that same landscape with the first parties they've picked up, with the who they have with the Coalition, the Initiative, all these different studios that I think could come out and make really compelling third person action games or whatever they want to make, but make exclusives that define what Xbox is or what those first party lineups are. And so, in the same way as we talked last week, I do think the success of Uncharted putting Naughty Dog into a different stratosphere, and then The Last of Us, really being a slam dunk on top of that, kind of influenced a lot of the studios as they looked around in terms what are they doing? What could we do? We can tell stories, we can focus more, we can make those kind of games. It would be the same thing here, where if the industry blew a different direction and suddenly it was that not multiplayers, but co-op games we're just going to throw out there, where maybe you start to see the first parties pivot that way. But in the same way, we can sit here and talk about how it fucking sucks that PlayStation Vita and PlayStation VR don't have Naughty Dog games, don't have Sucker Punch games, right? That's a calculated bet, because rather than take your studios and put them on unproven things, you let them do what they do best, and you don't get in their way of that. And so rather than launch the PlayStation 5 and suddenly be like, everybody, we're going in this direction. You stay tried and true. You stay true to what they want to be and what they should be. And you let them make the creations they want to create. Now, of course, that means that you have to go and partner with other people to bring in, the PlayStation VR games now that Vita's dead, God damn it. But you see the partnership with Marvel Games, and you see Camouflage, where I know we'll talk about Iron Man VR in a little bit with the demo out, but you get those kind of moves. You start having them support the systems and be weird, and then hopefully, if that can all catch on and find an audience, then you can look at your first parties, and when they have an idea they think they want to do in VR, they do it.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna rebuttal my own point a little bit. There was a tweet that I got last week from @Carl_Freemerman on Twitter, and they tweeted at me and they were like, on PS I Love You, you dismissively implied that Microsoft doesn't take risks with their games. How about Cuphead, Ori, Gears Tactics, Bleeding Edge, Minecraft Dungeons, and Grounded? And I responded, and I was like, you know what? That's a fair point. Like, in what I kind of just said, as far as like PlayStation not necessarily being affected by Xbox with what they do going forward, as far as like them not necessarily feeling the pressure. I think there is a way that the conversation could shift next generation if to what we're saying about PlayStation kind of knowing what to expect from PlayStation as far as the type of games PlayStation is making, as far as their big titles. If, let's say, 3 or 4 years into next generation, the conversation turns into, yeah, like PlayStation has those big first party titles that are single player that we love, but Xbox has a lot of variation in what their first party titles are. Does that then change things? Does that put some pressure? Because like they do, like Xbox does have Halo and Gears, which is what I was mainly referencing last week when we were talking about how first party titles from all the 3 big players are not really that risky when you look at kind of what they're doing, what their strategies are. But to what that tweet I just read was kind of putting out, right? Like, if it is Halo and Gears and Sea of Thieves and Cuphead and Ori and Bleeding Edge and Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga, right? And like, if let's say 4 years into Xbox Series X, Microsoft's library starts looking more and more vibrant and more varied and more interesting, I wonder if that does make PlayStation take a step back and be like, All right, yeah, let's start injecting something in here aside from what our main goal is with our Spider-Mans and our Horizons and our God of Wars.
I hear you. I don't buy it because I feel like PlayStation is doing that as well. Like we're playing fast and loose here with what you're talking about first party for Microsoft, right? Like MDHR, a Cuphead developer, is not owned by Microsoft. Like, granted, you know, in the same way, Insomniac would argue with me that Spider-Man is a first-party PlayStation game. Well, fuck, that doesn't work anymore. But you understand the argument I was making when Insomniac was a third-party, traditionally making what you'd call a second-party game, then telling me no, it's a first-party game because it's PlayStation, you know, making it through us. You could make the argument that even though Cuphead's come to Teslas and Switch now, right? Like, it's all over the place. In the same way, I'm looking it up, like Moon Studios isn't owned, right? They don't. Moon Studios is the people behind Ori. They're not owned by Microsoft, are they?
Oh,
yeah, they're independent.
That's a good question. I don't.
Video game founder 2020, best known for this. Moon Studios is development. Okay, Moon Studios signed a development and distribution deal with Microsoft Game Studios for Ori and the Blind Forest. At E3, they announced this thing. Yeah, they're still independent though, from everything I've ever heard.
The studio, yeah. I'm not sure if Ori is owned by them or Microsoft though.
Yeah, they signed a development and distribution deal. That sounds like it would still be still be on lock from them or whatever. Yeah, but
yeah.
Now the thing about it though is, like, I think to talk about that would and say, oh, that could push PlayStation is again back to our argument of last week, which I don't want to go back down the road of is PlayStation different enough? Are they playing it too safe? Like, we bring up these third-party games, but then there are the concrete genies, which, granted, third person moving around doing stuff, but it's not Last of Us. It's not.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and and then you could look into the other, second party but exclusive PlayStation games they've made. When again, we're talking about Predator Hunting Grounds then, or something like that, where it's like, no, there are things that are being mixed up here that aren't the exact same. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Which I then want to take, and then I know we're still on the first question of this episode, but I think
this could be the entire episode. I don't give a shit. It's our show.
I'm,
do whatever we want. I still want to actually. At some point, I do want to talk about the best PlayStation 4 moments when it's to me and video game moments and things. I love talking about the industry. Don't get me wrong.
To talk about a video game moment and talking about, like, I guess, risks or like games that aren't the third person single player action game. Until Dawn, for me, is one of my favorite moments of the PS4. Like, for that game to come out and be so unexpectedly amazing, and for it to have the reception that it got, and for everybody to be all about it in that month that it came out, like in the months after and the years after it came out, like, for me, that game was such a special moment as a PlayStation game.
Oh man, and I when I think about Until Dawn, I'll never forget that PSX where they played it on stage and we were in the audience. Yeah. And when they came out and we're like, we're gonna play it, and they did it, and it was that when the thing came up for Hayden Panettiere to run right or left or whatever, and everybody was like, "What?" And it was like, and you could see the developers chuckle because they're like, "Holy shit! Like, this is going better than we could have possibly imagined." And it was such a great example of what made PSX special. I mean, you want to talk about PlayStation moments, like, or for PlayStation 4's Generation 2, fucking PSX, right? Every one of them.
God, yeah.
What a great fucking idea.
Yeah, I forgot.
But that moment in general, right, of like, that's something you wouldn't get in the same way at E3. At E3, you do have that separation of, I'm a press person, I'm here to cover it, and then there usually is the audience members. And then there's the, now, I guess, where we are too, influencers, I don't even know, you know what I mean? Who are YouTubers and don't have it. But the amount of times I've been to press conferences and there's the moment where they hold for a pop and they don't get it because the front rows are all pressed and in the way back of the audience, and it just doesn't work that way. PSX being, hey, this is a fan show. Like, we're here for fan, like, you know what I mean? Like, I loved that PSX, for the most part, really didn't give like preferential treatment in terms of seating and stuff. I think the press might have like lined up, but then I remember being just in with everybody else. I remember at some point signing stuff so long that when I got in there, I just sat like 30 rows back with a bunch of kind of funny best friends, or I guess probably Podcast Beyond best friends at the time. Like, that was awesome and cool, and it really summed up what that experience was. And man, PSX was amazing. And man, I wish they would bring it back. And man, I know how fucked up that'll be now with everything else that's going to happen with this pandemic and how we live life afterwards. But God, that was so much fun.
Yeah, I remember attending PSX and absolutely loving it. Like, I remember the PSX I went to was PSX 2017. And that was actually the one where they were going hard in terms of pushing Dreams. And it felt like if that was actually the PSX that really sold me on Dreams as an idea and as a game. Because I remember they had a whole section that was sectioned off for Dreams. And it was like a stage show where the developers were taking you through like the different things they can do in the game. And I remember them going through the music tool in the games and me being like, oh shit, like they have like a whole DAW, like a DAW, which is like a digital audio workspace, I think is what the acronym is. And they're like, we're going through it and showing that you could make music in it. That I was like, okay, shoot, that's incredible. But then also I remember Shuhei Yoshida going up on stage and demoing with them, and that being a thing of like, oh yeah, like not only is this thing deep and robust, but also like, and this isn't like me saying that Shuhei Yoshida isn't a developer or anything like that, but like you can call anyone up and like they can have their own moment with it, and they can create what they want with it, and they can kind of form and create with it the way they want to. Like that for me was kind of a magical moment with PSX and Dreams.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's so many moments like that. But like I said, I want to talk about actual game moments. When you think about when this question came in from Branddnh H, and I sat there and I was like, fuck, what are PlayStation 4 moments? Obviously, yeah, stuff from my career, and like, you know, I've always talked about going to the PlayStation 4 New York thing and getting like my PlayStation engraved or whatever. Like that was all dope. But the first one that came to mind was Spider-Man. And so now we'll talk about spoilers for the end of Spider-Man. If you haven't played Spider-Man, this is your chance to mute and jump ahead. I don't know how long, but whatever. But, you know, for as much crap as I gave Spider-Man for playing it safe, right? Like, it was one of my critiques of it in the review, is that I thought it was too much a by-the-book Spider-Man story in the way that, like, we saw Doc Ock becoming Doc Ock, and I was hoping that, like, oh man, are they gonna change that? Are they not gonna do it? There's two moments at the end of that game that stand out to me so much in terms of holy fucking shit moments, and it's number one in the fight with Doc, where he knocks you down right and calls you Parker. And Spider-Man has that moment of like, you knew, right? And it's that moment of like, Peter's been going above and beyond this entire game to hide it from them. And, you know, Doc gave him this terrible like out of like, oh yeah, well clearly you're the guy who makes Spider-Man's costume, right? Like he knew from that moment that Peter was Spider-Man, but he still was like, whatever, I'll let it go. And to get to that moment and have it be, you knew, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, just fucking unload on him, right? Because it was that moment that worked for me so well in the story and in the game of, up until this point, you know that Otto Octavius likes Peter Parker and treats him like, you know, a son or, you know, a gifted student or whatever. And so when Doc Ock is beating the shit out of Spider-Man, it makes sense because he doesn't know it's him. You would think it would be this big moment, right, of peeling your mask off and being like, I'm the guy you love, and him be like, holy shit, I need to rethink everything I've done. When in reality, it's just like, no, I'm still going to fucking kill you. Like, you're in the way of my plans. And so for Peter to be like, you knew, the rage and fury that he unleashes after that in that fight, I felt, you know what I mean? Like, I understood in a rare instance, I feel like a turning point for a video game character where it was explained and set up so well and I wasn't beaten over the head with it, right? Like, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting but Otto, it's me, and him be like, oh shit, I need to rethink everything I've done. To have it instead be like, you fucking knew, now I'm going to kill you. Now I'm going to beat the shit out of you, old man. And to go through and do that was so perfect, especially when he was like a stand-in for Uncle Ben. And then on top of that, like I said, the second moment is the death of Aunt May.
Yeah.
Like, you think that, of course, Spider-Man's going to pull through. This is their first thing. They're launching a franchise with it. Like, Aunt May is so crucial to that story. And to get there at the end and have to make that choice, right? Of, do you want to be selfish and be Peter Parker and save one person, or do you want to be Spider-Man and save all of New York? It was so well done, and again, so understated, I thought. It didn't resonate as well as it should have for a while.
No, I'm with you there. And like, I think the parallel of it to what you get with the traditional Uncle Ben story, I think speaks loudly too, because you think of what you get with Uncle Ben, right? It's usually Peter kind of acting out and neglecting the fact that there's like this bad guy over here doing a thing, right? And like Uncle Ben's words of with great power comes great responsibility, not resonating with him at that time, right? Yeah. That then leads to the death of Uncle Ben, which for Peter Parker is a selfish thing. That paralleled with the fact that now you're having a Spider-Man game end with the death of Aunt May. That is Peter Parker in that moment being selfless, being the most selfless that he has to in order to save the people, save I guess like the community. I can't remember how many people were like sick at that.
Saves New York. Like, you know,
I guess it was the whole city, wasn't it?
They have to like make it into a antiviral.
But yeah, like, he has to make the most selfless act that he's made up to this point, and it costs the life of his Aunt May, which is like such a great full circle kind of thing to do with that story.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see where that'll put him in the next one. You know what I mean? When we get back to this story and we get back to this world that they created, like, you know, I think the Harry and Norman stuff's so interesting, but it is like, what kind of Spider-Man are we going to get? What kind of Peter are we going to get? What is he feeling right now?
Yeah.
What about you for game moments that stand out?
If we're talking about video game moments, I have to shout out the ending of Uncharted 4. And not even like the spoilers for Uncharted 4. I'll give you 2 seconds. Not the climactic battle between Nathan and Rafe, but like the actual resolution
the epilogue, right?
Yeah, the epilogue where you flash forward and it's Nate and it's Elena and it's now their daughter, right? And you kind of have that moment with them, and they like after 4 games, I guess 5 games if you include the Vita game.
Smart, good job.
Yeah, after that long of having Nathan Drake be this action character, right? Be like this, for me, like this not bland or boring at all, because Nathan Drake is super fun and I love Nathan Drake, but like he is action hero the person. Like that's kind of how I've always kind of viewed Nathan Drake. Like he is that not even typical, but what I view an action hero to be, right? And so like yeah, it's so you take
dude, always got a joke, cracks a punch and gets out of there, gets the girl at the end.
Yeah, and like makes it out of every dangerous situation at the nick of time, right? You take that character that we've had for the last 5 games, and you end Uncharted 4 with him actually having this moment with his family, and him kind of having this this come to home moment with Elena, right? Where like during the actual game they're having this back and forth of not getting along. You kind of you resolve that toward the end of the game and let him, I guess, rest at that point. Like,
yeah,
for me that hit home with what Uncharted is.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think Uncharted 4 is definitely in, you know, obviously a special place in my heart for basically chronicling my entire PlayStation professional career. But when I think of the moment from it, right? Yeah, I think of the reveal at home in the early part of the game of, you know, Nathan playing Crash Bandicoot. And like how fucking crazy that was, and like, what the fuck, this is insane, this is awesome. And then at the end to bookend it with that, right? And one of those moments where you're like, what the fuck's happening, this is great, to then jump to the end, and have it be, we start playing it again right after the fight, you fade back in and it's, you know, it turns out to be his daughter playing the game. Like I thought that was such a brilliant move as well. And to then have them start telling the stories, Uncharted, like I feel lots of video games struggle to land the plane, right? Like it's the same thing I feel about a lot of movies where you finish a movie like, that's the ending? Oh geez, all right, cool. It was a fun journey up until that point, right? I feel like Uncharted 4 is such a perfect conclusion to that world in that series, and Nathan Drake's story, which of course is what, you know, Naughty Dog kept talking about ending. That way they can always make an Uncharted game one day. The ending there has never left me wanting more, if that makes sense. And I'll be down whenever, whoever, if it's Naughty Dog or if it's that rumored Sony San Diego Uncharted game, if those materialize, and I should say when, you'll get more Uncharted eventually. As long as it's not Nathan, I'm cool with it, because I feel like Nathan and Elena and all of them, their story ended so perfectly that I don't need more from it. And I don't really want to see Nate's daughter go do it. I think you could do it, but then I feel like you're gonna inevitably have to have Nate step up and be the Sully character. And while that could be cool, maybe years down the line be cool, right now I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to jump into that adventure. That's not how I want it to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there.
The other, well, I mean, we could go on all day, I'm sure, but for PlayStation 4 moments, because I think, you know, I was talking about trailers ruining stuff, you know, obviously now in the age of just people spoiling everything and spoilers ruining stuff. I remember, and I don't think I will ever forget, again, God of War's being, you know, relaunched. Great. I see the trailer. It looks cool. It looks different. You know, it's very different, but I've never been a God of War guy. I've never been a Kratos guy. So it'll be interesting to see if this game can turn around and make me a Kratos guy. I go to LA. I play the, whatever it was, 2-hour demo that they set up from the, you know, the very beginning to when we walk in with the hog. And I was like, holy shit, this game's awesome. I can't wait for more of it. Getting it for review, going to PAX East, playing it in the hotel room. If I wasn't on a panel at PAX East that year, I was in the hotel playing God of War so I can meet the actual deadline. And the moment, again, not being a God of War person, but when the moment they start talking about the boy's sick, you know, he needs you'd have to go to, I think you have to go to hell, right, or whatever, and like there's nobody knows of any weapon that could possibly fight that kind of that evil. And Kratos goes,
yeah,
I know of such a weapon. I remember literally being like, holy shit, like putting the controller down and be like, oh my fucking god, and it was that thing of like, really, whatever, yeah. And he leaves and he gets on the boat and you're just going down, right? And then Athena pops back up in her statuesque form and is talking shit to you, and it was like, are we really fucking about to do this? And you go all the way back to the house that you spent all this time getting away from, and to go into the floorboards and crank them out and pick up the blades of chaos. I remember getting so emotional and being like, I don't even like the source material. Like, this is how I know this game is on another level, that it made me not only care about Kratos, not only care about the mythos that came before him, feel this moment. Like, I feel this fucking moment. Because again, you know, to be lucky enough to play that game before the world and not have spoilers out there, they did such a good job of being like, this is the new thing, this is what it is, yada yada. I never in my head even opened the possibility of like, oh, I'm gonna get the Blades of Chaos. And you know, the way they laid out menus didn't make it look like, oh, there's another skill tree over there, what am I gonna get there? Like, that was among the coolest reveals I think I've ever been a part of in a video game, where I'm playing it and just out of left field, it's like, this is what's gonna happen. You're like, holy fucking shit. And you get it, and suddenly the game feels different and moves different. It's a different speed.
I mean, that was my big thing during that moment, because I remember getting to that moment too and being like, oh snap, all right, I'm really gonna have to like get this weapon so I can go to, I think it was Helheim. I'm gonna have to get the Blades of Chaos. And I remember playing the OG God of War, God of Wars 1 and 2 not too many years ago, right? And so those games are kind of somewhat still fresh in my head. And I remember getting the Blades of Chaos, coming out of the house and then immediately going into a combat section and having that moment where I was like, the combos are the same. They've somehow maintained like the same controls, well, not the control scheme, but like the same combo system, or similar-ish combo system from the original games. Like, he's still doing like the same moves. It feels the same. It feels satisfying, and it feels rapid as you're doing it. The way that it felt in the PS2 games, like, that was such an incredible revelation for me when I got to that moment.
I found one of the YouTube videos here. I'm trying to get it to the right spot to give to Kevin, so we don't have to watch too much, because I want I know of such a weapon.
I got two, as you're pulling that up. I have two other moments that came to mind that are, I'm gonna say, are smaller moments from what I consider PlayStation games, but the first one being Shadow Colossus, which is like definitely a PlayStation game. But in the PS4 remake, the fifth Colossus, which is Avion, which for those listening, if you play Shadow Colossus, that's like the flying Colossus that it's the first flying one that you encounter that's like flying over the water. In the PS4 remake, having that moment with Avion felt cooler. Like, it felt bigger than it felt in the PS2 game, which is like the biggest compliment that I could give it, because for me, the PS2 game was such a special game for me growing up. And I remember having so many different moments with each of the Colossi, and Avion was one of those ones where I was like, shoot, this is like one of my favorite Colossi in this game. Like, this one is cool. The feeling of like gust of the wind that you get as you're like flying on top of it, feels super dope. The way that they maintain that and even make it feel cooler and feel even more dope in the PS4 version, for me, is like has been one of my favorite moments of this generation. And then another one, The Witness, which I feel like isn't as much of a PS4 game, but is still one that I kind of look at as a PS4 game, because it came out, I believe it was a launch exclusive on the PS4. Might have been on PC also, but I remember that was a game that was at the PS4 reveal. I want to say
The Witness,
but yeah, The Witness
sounds right. It's been a long time.
So, and this is spoilers for The Witness, which I know that not a crazy amount of people have played The Witness, and so like fast forward maybe 30 seconds if you don't want to hear spoilers. But The Witness, being a puzzle game, of course, like a first-person puzzle game where you're going through these different panels and you're like solving these line puzzles. The whole point of the game is that like it's a puzzle game, right? And you're doing these line puzzles, and you're kind of doing that for like 30 hours at a time. There's a certain moment in that game, and it happens in a different place for everyone, where you take a step back and realize that the game, like the puzzles that you've been doing in the game, aren't just limited to these panels that you're looking at. Like, there is a moment where you look at the environment and you see the puzzles that you've been looking at in the panels in the environment. And then you realize you can solve essentially like environmental puzzles using the same system that you've been using through the panels. And for me, like that was such like a cool thing. Describing it probably doesn't sound as cool as it felt in the moment. But essentially, like imagine like going up the stairs and looking like going up a stairs. This is how it happened for me. I was going up a set of stairs up to this temple, and as I was doing it, I stopped and I was like, these stairs look familiar. These stairs look like these line puzzles that I've been solving. I took 10 steps back, and then I brought up my I guess the UI, like the puzzle UI, because you can bring that up at any time. And I started drawing on the world itself. Like for me, that's been one of the coolest moments I've had this whole PS4 generation in a video game.
Kevin, I kicked you over the thing. If it's just the conversation between you got it. There is a Freya and Kratos.
Sorry, audio thing. One more time. Give me 2 seconds.
Don't worry about it.
The old thing.
Your thing. No one wanna know. You know what I mean? Plus, you ever heard that song?
I'm not even positive because the last time this happened, it was Benny Benassi's Satisfaction.
Fair. All right, go ahead.
The keeper that protects the Bridge of the Damned. I need its heart.
Hell.
The realm of the dead. Do you know it?
Not this one.
It is a land of unyielding cold. Fires cannot burn there, and no magic in all the 9 realms can create a blaze. As for the dead, your frost axe will be useless. You'll need to find something else.
Then I must return home.
And then look at this. You know what I mean? Calm the fuck
out. Would stay buried.
Who you were before doesn't matter. This boy is not your past, he is your son. And he needs his father. This rune opens the bridge to Helheim. When you are there, do not under any circumstances cross the Bridge of the Damned. There is no road back. Understand?
I gotta replay this game.
I know, right?
Boy.
You must hurry. Through my garden, there's a path leading to my boat. Take it. Return home. Dig up your past. Do whatever you need to do. Just bring me back.
It's so
the
good.
Bridgekeeper's heart.
It is. It's ridiculous how good this game is.
And that's the thing. Crazy thing about it is like I think not having played it since review, you know what I mean. But jumping back in and watching this stuff, just like the way it gets so much praise for the single shot, move the camera around, and just how fucking dope it looks. You know what I mean? How much it brings you into this moment.
To distrust
the way they act, right?
No
like
need
their
to explain.
acting quality.
Not to me, not for that. I will keep him safe. That's a mother's promise.
Head nods if you're an audio listener. And then they give it to you, right? They let you have, like, again, to talk about, like, video games versus movies or whatever, to have control here. And
Helheim
to be like,
of all places.
You
all right, brother?
But like
I will do what I must. Leave me be.
Let me go. Oh, okay. It's too late. Don't worry.
Sorry.
But to let you have that control and move you to the boat and have you go through, like, you know what I mean? Like to have you be, God, the fucking game, dude. What a fucking game.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous how good this game is. And also, like, I remember the one thing I will say about this moment is that when he said I need to go home, in my mind, as I was playing the game, I thought he meant Greece. I thought he was going back to Greek mythology to get the Blaze of Chaos. And so for a second, I was like, oh snap! All right, here we go. And when he went to like his actual home, I was like, oh well, I guess that makes sense also.
Yeah, he's buried him under the ground here or whatever.
It's like that's probably a smart thing to do with the Blaze of Chaos, is to bury them.
Yeah, try to tear them off and forget about your old life here. Start a new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a fucking game, dude. God of War is good. The other one I want to shout out is one that I don't think you'd probably think of for me, at least, or in general, probably is you're talking about best PlayStation 4 moments, right? Things that I'll always remember from this PlayStation 4 generation. Everybody's Golf.
Oh yeah, that's a good one,
dude. I was such a Hot Shots golf fan. Open Tee on PSP. And even with Open Tee 2, I thought they got away from it. You know, when they put out the Vita World Tour one, I didn't like it, the way they were doing the star system. And I remember getting ready for Everybody's Golf and being like, all right, cool. It looks like they're going to do it. I like this character creation. That seems cool. And I remember getting that review code, installing it at my desk at work. And like, after 20 minutes, I took off my headphones and turned around to Tim, and I was like, I'm almost in tears. And I wasn't being facetious. Like I'm like, I'm so they've done everything right. This is exactly what I wanted from this game. You know what I mean? Of creating your character, having these challenges, going through and earning these things. Like, I was like, holy fuck, they did it. Like they actually made this game exactly what I wanted it to be. In the online, it turned out the online had a couple little things I didn't like, but no big deal about that. Like, what a fucking game. And I'll never forget that moment of playing it because that's so rare, I feel, where there's a game you can't wait for and you pop it in and you're immediately rewarded and you're like, this is it. This is what I wanted. It's not like wait, what are you doing here? I think Last of Us Part 2 is a great example.
I got to warm up to it.
We have no idea how that game is going to start. Are we going to jump in? Are we going to be turned around? Does it pick up or does it start where we want it to start? Does it start somewhere different? Like, to get into that and going and feel it, like that's a special sauce to a video game, I think. And like God of War is another good example of it, of starting and just being into it, right? The way they do the game.
I think for me, I think that's me and Ratchet and Clank from 2016. The Ratchet and Clank remake. For me, as somebody who loved the original Ratchet and Clank growing up, getting into the remake and seeing that not only is it a faithful recreation of the original game, but also like it adds this extra stuff and also it looks beautiful, and also like there's all this new content that also works well for it. That was the game that immediately as I started it, I was like, all right, this feels right. And as I continued playing it, I was like, all right, this is right. Like this is the exact game that I want from this.
Blessing, I feel like we could go on this for another 4 hours if we wanted to.
Oh yeah, dude, I got like 10 more examples.
I was gonna say, yeah. What are your main examples you want to hit, or give me one more example above all as you approach the end of the generation? What are your favorite PlayStation 4 moments?
Oh man, this is a lot of pressure.
I
talk about this game a lot, but I'm still gonna say it. Hellblade. I fucking like. If you want to talk about like a moment where, like, you know, you talk about playing Everybody's Golf and taking off your headphones and being like, dude, I can't believe like they did it, right? Like, this game is exactly what I wanted. Playing Hellblade was somewhat similar but different, because like Hellblade, I didn't know what I want, right? Hellblade was a game that I played after seeing reviews and me going, oh, this looks cool. Like, people seem to like this. I'm gonna try it out. And by the time I finished that game, I remember being like, this is a game unlike any other I played. Like, this game truly feels like an actual like unique experience from all the different things they do within it, right? Like the whole binaural audio thing with the voices speaking to you, because you're playing as the main character who has psychosis, right? And so they try to simulate that the best they can. You have that. You have the whole presentation of the game just visually, and how they use FMV. They use beautiful graphics. They use excellent facial capture. I remember having a moment probably about 2 hours in where there's a cutscene, one of the early pivotal moments of the game, where the main character is having this, I feel like, descent into madness is almost what you'd want to call it. And the screen goes black, and she's kind of suffering in the moment, and the screen goes black, and then all you see is her face, and it's just her kind of agonizing in pain. And I remember being like, yo, this might be one of the best performances I've seen in a video game. And then later on learning that Melina Jurgens, the actress, had never acted in a video game before. Like, she was the video editor at the studio, who was just asked to play this part temporarily, and then ended up getting the full role of the part. Like, that was the thing that blew my mind. But even in the moment, not even knowing that, I was still like, yo, this performance is off the chain. I've never seen anything like this. And that kind of reflects throughout my whole experience with Hellblade.
Yeah, my final one I'd want to toss in before we move out, right, would be one with Big Kev Dog, and it's Firewall 0 Hour from PlayStation.
Oh,
VR,
wow.
Where Firewall 0 Hour was the same thing of, I remember, obviously, I'm the PlayStation guy. I remember being at Judges Week and going to the PlayStation area, right, the PlayStation event, and they were doing Firewall. They were doing a bunch of PlayStation VR demos. And there was Firewall and there was Astrobot. And I remember playing Astrobot and being like, oh man, this is a great platform. This is really cool. And then playing Firewall and being like, it's going to control the way you think it's going to control. It's going to be Rainbow Six. It's going to be Rainbow Six in VR. It's going to be first person. Getting in there, having it work, talking to the other people around me. I think I had like Brad Shoemaker playing with me or whatever, I had two other people and the developers, and we're all running around having a great time shooting each other and being like, that was amazing. That was great. And I'm like, there's no way, right, that's going to work that way when you get it home. Like, clearly this is one of those things where it's great in a demo with me and my friends hanging out really quick. It's like an Evolve situation, right? Where it's like, we're all in the same room, great. When you're all spread out, it's not working as well. And when that game launched and getting home and putting it on, and I'll never, ever forget it. And I know it's a tired story for some, but me and Kevin are talking while we're setting up a game. And I kept turning and talking to Kevin's avatar. Because in the space, Kevin's avatar was standing right there. So I would turn, and it took me like a minute of talking to him to start bust up laughing. Like, I can't believe I keep turning to acknowledge your real thing. But the way, the headset was on, the mic's built into it, just put on your headphones, you were there. We had the move attached, or the move guns. I always forget his name for some reason. Sharpshooter. And like, being able to go in there, have it work, you want to get behind cover, actually crouching down behind cover to really help it, go. And the experiences we had, like, that was one of those moments where when I talk about the power of PlayStation VR and VR in general, that's not the top of the list, but near the top of just like, I always think about my problems with PC gaming and technology in general. My pet peeve is when technology doesn't work the way it's supposed to, when it's not plug and play, when it's, it's claims to be one thing and you do it, it's not. To turn all that on and get in there and actually have it be exactly what we wanted it to be, that was incredible.
Yeah, no, that's super awesome. And like to a similar point, I think that's kind of me with Astrobot, where like not as much technology involved, but the fact that Astrobot was a game that I played and was VR and was a thing that by the time I got a few levels in, I was like, yeah, like they figured it out. Like this is exactly what a VR game should be, and this is exactly how this should work. Like I remember having somewhat of a similar feeling of, yeah, they nailed it.
Blessing.
Greg.
We've given Branddnh a lot of show, so I hope we answer the question. Before we jump into this week's X's and O's, I thought I'd tell you about our sponsor. This episode of PS I Love You XOXO is brought to you by MeUndies. Summertime dreaming. These are the days when visions of sunshine and surf dance through our heads, probably now more than ever, as we collectively mold into our couches. But we gotta keep the dream alive. MeUndies is committed to the cause by keeping you in a constant stream of uninterrupted, dream-inducing undie comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to hear it from me or Portillo. You know that I love MeUndies. I bought my first set of MeUndies, and guess what? Threw away the rest of my underwear, ordered MeUndies more. They've been with us forever. You know that. They've been a great sponsor forever. You know that. They don't mind when we record the ad way later because something went wrong and you're holding a wiener dog and Lucy from GameSpot is over there on the couch. They don't mind at all. Of course, MeUndies is made from micromodal and irresistibly soft, sustainable fabric that encases your nether regions in cloud comfort. It's magically made from trees. Another reason to give them a hug. Jen, how much you love your MeUndies?
So much.
Jen and I have the MeUndies onesies. We have the MeUndies underwear. We have the MeUndies lounge pants. Tim goes a step further and has the MeUndies t-shirt. We basically love MeUndies. If they have pet stuff too. I was gonna say if they made underwear for dogs, that'd be a different thing. But actually, no, too late. You wanted to be in the ad, Portillo. You're in the ad. You can't get out of it now. They have a whole bunch of buddy stuff you can get for your dog too as well, and you can match your dog, and it's very, very cute. MeUndies are great. And again, basically what I'm saying is, guess what? You need underwear. I wish you didn't either, man. I wish we could just go out there and Donald Duck it, but we can't. You need underwear. Go to MeUndies. Right now, MeUndies has a special offer for my listeners. Any first-time purchasers get 15% off and free shipping. You got to give this super softness a try, especially because they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. To get 15% off your first order, free shipping, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/PSILY. That's MeUndies.com/PSILY. You wanted to be in the ad, now you're in the ad. What are you going to do, Porty? All right, Blessing. What do you got in this week's X's and O's?
Dude, I'm surprised we're doing the X's and O's because this could be a long show.
We have plenty of other things to talk about.
I feel like we just skip X's and O's this week, honestly. Because honestly, for X's and O's, I had to like dig for an article. Like, we're doing this on Friday, and so there's not as much news happening.
And also, I know you want to say that. I also think we're in that weird right now. It's the calm before the storm.
Yeah,
like it's hard to like what PlayStation news are they going to talk about outside of like the sale they're doing because they're waiting obviously for this going on, the PlayStation 5 event.
Yeah, and so like I'm not as passionate about the X's and O's topic, but
bury it in the ground. Fuck it, it's done.
Bury it.
Instead, let's talk about what you've been playing. Blessing, what you've been playing.
Oh man, where do I start? I restarted The Last of Us.
How far are you now?
I hit that point where you went it's Joel and Ellie, they're in the car, they're driving, They take an exit and then they get jumped.
Like one of those first trailers we all saw.
Yeah, from one of the first trailers. Yeah,
I forget what song they played. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fucking heavy, but that's a great moment.
So that
you've just gotten out of hanging out with Bill.
Exactly. I just finished Bill stuff. And yeah, man, Last of Us is a great game. It's awesome. They nailed it. They did the thing. I think the thing.
Is this your second playthrough of all time?
This is my third playthrough of all time. I played it originally. I played it when it came to PS4, and now I'm playing it for the third time. It almost feels weird saying this is my third playthrough because I also played a lot of factions multiplayer. Like I probably played more multiplayer hours wise than the single player. Which has been an interesting thing. It's been an interesting thing coming back because I realized that I had the issue where I started the new game and then I realized that my aim and shoot were assigned to L1 and R1, and I was like, why would that be the case? And then I remembered that I had it set like that because I'd played the original game on PS3, and on PS3, L1 to aim, R1 to shoot was the standard. And that's actually
you remember that? God.
Yeah, and like it's so weird that we all just stuck by it. We were all like, yeah, this is right. Like, this is what we do for PlayStation.
Sure there were so many arguments of like, it makes more sense. Of course, this is how it should work.
Yeah, but really, what it came down to was just that like the PS3 triggers weren't that great.
We did it. All right, fine. That's what it is. Great.
Yeah, and so playing it now feels weird because like I started off using L1 and R1 as my aim and shoot, and now that I'm like a few hours in, I was like, all right, it feels off. But like when I switch it to L2 R2, it also feels off. Yeah, and so now I'm just committed to just doing L2 R2 now, and so that's where I'm at. But yeah, aside from that, game's still great. Like the thing that actually coming off the God of War conversation is actually interesting because as I've been playing this game, I've been comparing it to God of War a lot in my head in the sense that I've always looked at The Last of Us as being like the pinnacle of the PlayStation like ecosystem as far as first party games, and I still hold it up there, right? Last of Us is still like one of the best PlayStation games. In my head, I've always had it above God of War. Like even after playing God of War, I still had Last of Us above God of War. And as I'm playing through Last of Us right now, I don't know if I have it above God of War anymore.
I was gonna say, like, you feeling a little bit different now?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit different because now that I'm playing it so many years removed, like I'm starting to like notice the things that I guess I didn't notice at the time because for 2013, Last of Us was such an incredible title, and Last of Us was such a forward thing.
For the end of the PlayStation 3's life cycle, right?
Yeah, like when you look at,
I'm being generous there. I'm being a bit over generous. Sorry,
but when you look at the amount of polish and the amount of love that Naughty Dog put into the game, you look at the visuals, you look at the character animations, you look at the cutscenes and the way they framed them. Right, a lot of the things that I love Last of Us for are also things that I love God of War for. And there are also things that haven't aged, and I'm not gonna say haven't aged well because Last was actually still plays fine. Like I still love it as I'm playing it today, but I take it and I compare it to God of War, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, like God of War is basically doing like a lot of similar things, but because technology has come such a long way, right? Like God of War is just doing it better. And so like
the hard thing about this stuff. Especially, you know what I mean? When we look back at games and talk about games and have those rose-colored glasses, to then go back and play them and see like, oh, right, there were the technical limitations and the way, at the time this is the best looking PlayStation 3 game. We don't know any better, you know what I mean? And then you play it on PlayStation 4 and it still looks great, but it doesn't look as good as God of War. I mean, we just saw God of War and God of War looks incredible.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As I'm playing through Last of Us, the in game, you can clearly tell the cutscene graphics from the gameplay graphics. Like there's a clear transition. There's a clear cut of like, oh yeah, the cutscenes look amazing. Then you get into gameplay and it's like, okay, this looks good, but it definitely doesn't look as good as cutscenes, which isn't really as much of a thing in God of War. Like God of War, I don't even think you get that at all. Like God of War just looks incredible throughout.
Yeah, that's a transition, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you also get things of So when I first started The Last of Us for this playthrough, I started playing it on stream, and within the first hour, I was praising the game. I was praising Naughty Dog for how good they're able to guide the player, which they do a great job of, right? Like you think of that first 10 minutes and how as you're playing first as Sarah, but then switch over to Joel in the before the apocalypse portion, or I guess during the apocalypse portion, the way that they guide you to where you need to go, Naughty Dog does such an excellent job of that. Playing it more and more, I'm getting to points where I'm like, all right, where am I supposed to go? Like, what is the signposting here? Like, I'm starting to see those design things that I think just as video games have grown throughout the years, right? Like those things have gotten better to a point where now I'm going back to Last of Us and noticing places where they could do better in that stuff.
That was the thing. So, playing through it again with Nick, right? In our, if Nick did an entire playthrough just like he said he would, when we did it on patreon.com/kindafunny. It's going up this week. Obviously, I think Tim's idea is to launch it at the same time the Last of Us was supposed to come out before the latest delay. But it was the same thing of running Twitch chat and having not played the game really since its launch in 2013, because like when it came to PlayStation 4, I started and I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this again. Because the way I experienced it or whatever. At the moment, I just wasn't there, and now I want to before Last of Us 2, but I also just did it with Nick. Anyways, though, watching Nick play it and being in a different room than him and watching his stream and covering our stream and making jokes and he would get to parts and be like, "What do I do?" And I'd look up and be like, fucking
I don't know. Like
room looks just like the other room. I'm not 100% sure, and like not having sticks to go out and actually like try the things and push on things. It was so hard to try to talk him through it.
Yeah, the first part where Ellie can't swim and you have to figure out how to get Ellie to a certain side of the water. I was like, all right, so where do I go to get, like, I know I need to get like the thing for Ellie to float on.
You know exactly what you're supposed to do. You just don't know how to do it. I hate that.
You don't know how to do it. Like those are the things I'm noticing more and more. But yeah, like overall, I'm still like enjoying the experience. It's interesting to re-experience the story of the game. And yeah, like overall, like I'm still absolutely loving it. And I can't wait for The Last of Us Part 2. So I'm playing that. I've been playing a lot of Apex Legends, which I know I talk about every week on the show. The thing I want to highlight though is that yesterday, as I was streaming this, actually, and this is yesterday as of the time of recording. So Thursday, as of the time, Thursday Thursday is the time we're recording this. I'm losing it. Thursday, when I was streaming with Andy and Chloe on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, we were playing Apex. And toward the end of our time playing, I earned a trophy, which was win a game as 8 different legends. And once I triggered that, I was like, I gotta check, like, let me see how many trophies I've gotten in this game. Went and checked, and I only have 1 trophy left.
Oh, you still do not know that. You gotta know that. You gotta be on top of that.
I put in so many hours in Apex Legends that I just didn't realize. And so
you're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh shoot, am I about to get the platinum? Yeah. And then I realized pretty quickly that there's no Apex Legends platinum. And I was like, why isn't there a platinum? And then I was like, it's probably because it's a free-to-play game. Which I wanted to ask you, because you're the trophy expert. Has there been a free-to-play game that has gotten a platinum trophy?
Well, my mind immediately jumps to DC Universe Online having a platinum. However, that's cheating because DC Universe Online started as not being free to play. So let's dig into PSN profiles here. You jump into some games because Warframe free to play, right?
Yeah, Warframe's free to play. Does Warframe have a platinum?
Oh, we're checking. That's what we're up to. Because I wouldn't know this.
Yeah,
Warframe doesn't know.
Let me check Blacklight Retribution.
I'm betting it doesn't. I'm trying to remember back to when this was actually, topics of conversation. And it was like PSN games wouldn't get platinums, and experiences that they thought were too short wouldn't get platinums. No, that doesn't count either. That's how they get you. Wait, so Marvel Heroes Omega. Marvel Heroes Omega was, in fact, when Marvel Heroes started on PC, you did in fact need to. When Marvel Heroes started on PC, you had to buy it. Then it transitioned to free to play. Did Marvel Heroes Omega start as free to play? That I don't know. It must have. If it was already free to play, I guess on PC it would have been free to play when it came out.
The ones I'm checking right now also don't have platinums. I checked for Blacklight Retribution.
Because Marvel Heroes Omega definitely does have Marvel Heroes Omega does have a platinum, because there was that part of me that wanted to be a sick son of a bitch and get it before they went offline. Well, I don't even see Marvel Heroes on here anymore. Hold on. Marvel, no.
Is Brawlhalla free to play?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I just say yes, and then I'm like, we'll sort it out afterwards. So Marvel Heroes Omega definitely has a platinum. Was Marvel Heroes always free to play? We'll go back here now. Marvel Heroes Omega beta launch trailer. That doesn't help me. Marvel Heroes announced trailer. If the announced trailer announces it's free to play, fighting people. Yeah. Okay. Well, fuck. That's on Xbox.
What I'm saying, so Brawlhalla is free to play. I think Brawlhalla might also have a platinum.
All right. So Marvel Heroes Omega was in fact free to play. It looks like from launch, and it does have a platinum. So interesting.
So what you're saying is Apex could indeed have a platinum.
That would, well, yeah. I mean, like
it could have if they wanted to.
This is from the Wikipedia. The game was renamed Marvel Heroes 2016 in 2016. On April 5th, 2017, a console version was announced to be in production at the time for both PlayStation and Xbox that was branded as free to play under the Marvel Heroes Omega. So yeah, and it's okay. So then, Marvel Heroes Omega, yes, was free to play and has a platinum. You're saying Brawlhalla is free to play and has a platinum, correct?
Yes. I don't know if Brawlhalla started off as free to play though. I can't speak to that.
Brawlhalla video game.
But as far as I'm seeing, it has a platinum.
I mean, welcome to Brawlhalla.
I'm trying to do more research.
PS4 free to play. It's off the PlayStation. Off the PlayStation Store, Brawlhalla is a 2D platform fighter and is 100% free to play. So here's the Brawlhalla PlayStation 4 announcement trailer. So, epic 2D fighting. Choose a legend. Offline or online. Become a legend.
This is very riveting content.
They want to see us hack the system and figure everything out. 2016.
Yeah. I'm seeing people. Yeah, yes, I'm seeing posts with Brawlhalla.
On the PlayStation announcement trailer, Brawlhalla is a 2D platform fighter and 100% free to play. So, ladies and gentlemen, I might just be a small town pizza lawyer, but as usual, it stands with the rule of PlayStation. They don't want you to ever have a platinum trophy. And I don't mean you, the player, I mean you, the developer. So when you submit your game and they say, give us trophies, you don't need a platinum. Lots of people just don't do anything. They just say, here's the fucking trophy list, and then they go away. Sometimes people say, hey, give me a platinum, and PlayStation will say no. What I've always been told is if you ask again, PlayStation will just say yes. So we have a huge problem here. You're telling me Apex Legends doesn't have a platinum?
I am. Which wouldn't be a problem, but I would be about to get it if they did. And so it is a problem for me.
March 11th, 2019. Why Apex Legends doesn't have a platinum trophy? This is on the subreddit.
Oh.
Somebody says it shouldn't really get a platinum for like 9 trophies. Free to play games has not some free games.
They could patch more trophies in.
They could patch more trophies in and out of platinum. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Blessing. Here's you know better than anybody. I don't play Apex Legends. Frankly, I don't like that you play so much Apex Legends. You don't play more Predator Hunting Grounds with me. However,
I played for like hours last night.
And you're a really good Predator, by the way. I complimented you on games yet. I will not stand for a trophy injustice. All right. I will not stand for a PlayStation trophy injustice. So we need to get on top of this. I think we're starting a hashtag ad campaign. Hold on, Platt.
Oh. We're taking this further than I meant to.
What if what, you thought I was gonna let this injustice stand?
I just wanted to ask about free-to-play games and platinums. But I'm also down to start a revolution.
So the hashtag is give Apex a platinum.
Oh, okay, let's go. I agree with this. Here's a good idea.
I'm not going to get ahead of myself. If I tweet right now, no one will know what's going on. It's Friday, 4:30 on a Friday. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to put it in here. Okay, we're going to schedule a tweet right now. All right, and then I need everybody to go retweet this. It's time for an injustice to be corrected.
I like this. Sounds a good tone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You don't come on too strong at PlayStation. And I hesitate to put Shu in here because he has nothing to do with it. But Shu gets things he won't get anything. At PlayStation, do the right thing. And then hashtag give Apex a platinum. That's the hashtag we're going with. Give Apex a platinum. All right.
Perfect.
We're gonna tag Vince Zampella in here too. All right, because okay.
Don't know what to do.
Now we're gonna find a GIF and put an Apex GIF in. Now I'll have to describe the GIFs to you to understand. Oh yeah, it's this guy who has he stabs himself with a syringe in the head. It says "Let's go."
That's Octane.
Right? All right,
yeah,
we're gonna put him in there. We're gonna use that as the GIF, and we're gonna schedule this now for Monday the 25th. No, wait. This comes out on the 26th, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say this episode comes out on Tuesday,
May 26th, 2020. We're going to set it for what time is this show? People are going to listen. Let's do noon 30. All right.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So everybody,
Tuesday noon 30.
May
Pacific
26th, time. A Monday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. The tweet is going out. It's time for an injustice to be corrected. At PlayStation, do the right thing. Give Apex a platinum. And then we just put at Vince Zampella. I need everybody to go retweet that. Make this happen. Start the Give Apex a platinum movement. All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Blessing.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate the support. This is the most support I think I've ever gotten.
Have they added trophies to Apex ever? Like when with their DLC?
No, they've not. But like other games have done it, and so like that's not like
do it.
It's definitely a thing about them caring rather than about them not being able to.
Well, now
I imagine
the thing, if we can make the voice of the Apex PlayStation players heard, we have a shot at this.
Because I will say, like, to the point that somebody just made in that subreddit that you read, like, there aren't that many trophies in Apex, and so I understand the idea of, do you want a platinum when there's only like 9 trophies? But
I mean, I do.
Even if they added 10 more trophies in a platinum, I'd still go for it.
To cut you off, because I'm sure people in the comments will act like Greg's such an idiot because he doesn't know. I'm aware there's points assigned to trophies, so the point total for a game without a platinum is different than a point total for a game with a platinum. I'm saying that Apex Legends is a huge fucking game, and I'm sure we can figure out how to get the DLC to have a platinum and figure it out and pad it out that way. All right?
Yeah.
We're doing it. It's happening. Blessing. While we were gone for 1 week, something came out, and it was the Iron Man VR demo.
It did.
I was incredibly excited to see this because, as you know, since I took the Iron Man VR demo, which you can all play now for free on PlayStation, and get the Iron Man Molten Lava suit unlock just by downloading it, that'll be on your final version of the game. Okay. Since I played the demo, a year ago, 2 years ago? No, I guess it would have been, 1 year ago and change with that first state of play. Man, have I been all about that game. And I've talked so much about it based on that first demo from whatever it was, I think March 2019, that there's been that part of me of just like, am I overhyping it? Did I like it as much? Is it still going to stand up? Yada, yada. So downloaded the demo, got into it today, went and ran through it. And holy fuck, dude, I think that game is fun. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, it's VR, and it's got like, the load times are great between things, and it's, I don't want to say simplistic because I definitely need to get the flight controls down to actually feel like I'm actually maneuvering correctly. But it's just so much fun to be in there and have, thrusters on the triggers of the move, shooting with your repulsors on the move button themselves, turn with your top 2 face buttons, and then you can do superhero punches with your bottom 2 face buttons. It's a simple control scheme, difficult to master. I was doing it today, and it's my first time, like I said, doing it in more than a year. And, going through the Malibu obstacle course that teaches you flying, I did it in like, a minute 20, a minute 30. And then it's like the camouflage who the developers like time they've set is like 30 some seconds, which means that I obviously am not good at it now, but also that I'm sure the trophies are going to come down to a whole bunch of time travel shit that'll like drive me crazy. And I probably won't get the platinum because I'll die. But I have such a good time with that game. I can't wait to play it for an extended period of time. I can't wait to learn how to be better at it, learn how to fly better, learn how to shoot better. You know what I mean? But there's something about it, dude, of like every time it loads you into the scenario, right? And the HUD of the mask boots up and you see your breath from the inside, and then like all your things come up and the eyes open, and then it like pulls you into the scene, and then you have your HUD up here for like the integrity of your armor. You bring up your repulsors and you see if they're overheating or whatever. You see how to fly. It's so interesting. And granted, I know it's just 2 levels, and I could be setting myself up for a huge disappointment if it doesn't pay off. But from those 2 levels, the story they're telling, the voice acting from Josh Keaton and Jennifer Hale, like, fuck, dude. God, I can't wait to play this entire thing.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it. Like, I've not gotten to try the demo. I meant to try it out last night, but we ended up playing Predator. So, like, duty called.
You got to get in there.
Yeah, I'm at this point, like, I don't know if I should just wait to play it when it comes out, or should I?
Did you download it at least yet to get your hot magnet suit?
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely downloaded it, and I downloaded it with the full intention of being like, okay, I'm gonna play this so I can talk about it on PS. I Love You, but I didn't make the cut, and so I'm like, dude, do I just wait now? Do I just wait to play it when it comes out, just have the full experience all at once with my molten lava suit?
There you go. Yeah. It's so much fun to be Iron Man. And so, yeah, I really, really, really hope that experience plays out the entire way. Because, even right now, it's a bit of a mix of shooting gallery for the aliens that pop up when the plane's going down and you're trying to fight them. And then, a little bit of flying and stuff. But I feel like they've put a floor to ceiling on flying. So, like, even if you're not, focusing on going forward or hovering, you still can't fall too far. You're still in the scene, you're still doing what you need to do, and just wanting to be a superhero all the time, like flying up in the plane and the wings on fire, and you have to go up there and use your fire suppression outfit or whatever, tools or whatever. It's really good. I think graphics can be rough, but it's PlayStation VR, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what you're looking for. I'm grading on a different curve. Yeah, but I'm having a great time with it, so I really can't wait for more on that one.
What would you say is the most graphically impressive PSVR game?
Probably Resident Evil, right?
Oh, I've not tried Resident Evil.
If we're talking about straight up, like, I guess what this sounds stupid. I know you're talking about graphics, but what kind of graphics are we talking about? Like, I think when you think of graphics, right? I think we all jump to a photoreal, lost in the world, super experience. I think in that version of it, Resident Evil does it really well. I think Blood and Truth does facial animations better than anybody. You know what I mean? Watching people act, that was one of their big things of it. But like the environments can be kind of bare, and we've talked about load times before. I think Astrobot and Moss are a different kind of graphics. You know what I mean? In terms of they have a style to them. They have an art style that you're getting lost in, and I would probably go Astrobot above that in terms of how colorful and bright it is and all these things. And that's not to say, back to Iron Man, that Iron Man looks bad, but it is that thing of like, you're at one point you start on a plane, the plane side gets split open, you get sucked out of it. As you're falling, you put on your Iron Man suit, like in Avengers, which I think's fucking awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Of falling, and you hold out your hand and goes, and that's like, there's a shit flying at you. You have to shoot and blast it away. Like, that's all rad. But again, then you're just like in a giant skybox, right? So it's just you're falling through a giant blue sky with like weird clouds out there and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're coming to, and that's the thing about VR in general. And I guess, Oculus Quest and PlayStation VR, what I'm experienced in. VR in general, right? That you're usually not going there for this graphically amazing experience, right? It is instead the experience. Like, I'm not playing anything there thinking it's going to be like Half-Life Alyx, which was a very pretty game.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm in VR, dude. I can't wait. July can't get here soon enough. And it's that weird thing of like that. And I don't know why, because this is going to bite me in the ass, I'm for sure. But I am way more like, oh man, I would love a code for Iron Man VR than I am, oh man, I'd love a code for Last of Us. And I 100% know Last of Us Part 2 is going to be the better game. I cannot wait to play Last of Us Part 2. When Last of Us Part 2 gets here, I will devour it and sit here and just play it. However, Iron Man's the one I'm like, fuck, I can't wait to do that. And I think it's what we're talking about earlier on one of the other shows about this, where it's like, that's a new experience. That's something I haven't done before. I haven't been Iron Man for a 6 hour, 8 hour campaign, right? Versus I've been Joel and Ellie before. I know what that's going to fucking be, and I know it's going to be a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, same exact thing for me in Ghost of Tsushima, where like I wish those dates were flipped and I could play Ghost of Tsushima first, because I that's a game I'm really excited about and looking forward to, because it's just more of an unknown quantity. Where Last of Us Part 2, like, I know I'm going to get something incredible, but I know what I'm going to get also. Yeah,
exactly. And then the other thing I was playing, Blessing, because I don't know if you know this, Palm Quest, still a coward. No sign of it on the PlayStation Store after standing me up last week for 104 PSN games ranked, is Man Eater. Of course, the game that is a shark RPG, or a Char RPG, as they keep putting in their press releases. That only really works when you see it, not when you try to read it aloud. Of course, this was my pick from last week for 104 PSN games ranked. If you've never caught this before, each and every week we read through the drop on the PlayStation blog and each pick a different PSN game to play. The next week we report back and rank the games in one ridiculous list. The rules are simple. We can't pick the same game. We can't pick something that's AAA, and it should be something we were going to play anyway. Right now, the top 10 looks like this, and of total 37 games. Top 10 looks like this. Number 1, Telling Lies. Number 2, John Wick Hex. Number 3, Streets of Rage 4. Number 4, Under Night In Birth. Number 5, Hunt Down. Number 6, Round Guard. My apologies. Number 7, Darwin Project. Number 8, Hidden Through Time. Number 9, Kamiko. Number 10, Foxyland 2. So yeah, I've been playing Maneater. Have you played this or seen this? What's your experience with it, Blessing?
I've seen images of like promotion material for it. I've seen people talk about it and talk about how much they enjoy it. All I know about it is that it is an open world shark game, and that's kind of where my knowledge kind of ends.
And that's pretty much all you need to know. Yeah, it's a third person action RPG open world shark game where you go through as this shark, you eat fish, you eat other predators, you eat human beings, and as you do this, you fill in an XP meter, leveling up, and then you move from being a baby shark to a teen shark to an adult shark to a giant shark to a bigger shark than that. You also, as you go through, unlock new abilities and augments, I guess you could say, right? Like you have a sonar that gets more powerful. The first unlock that I got that I think everybody gets is electric teeth. And as you're eating other animals, you're collecting resources that you can, or in people too, resources that you can in turn use to power up these augments, these evolutions that you can use to, obviously level yourself up, make yourself more powerful, and change all your equipment and stuff. It's a kooky, crazy idea. I think it's got an amazing presentation to it because it is telling you this narrative of like, and the shark doesn't talk or anything, but it's telling this narrative of like, in the very beginning, spoilers for Maneater, you're like a giant shark. You're out there fucking people up. You're killing stuff. Eventually you get caught though by this, fishing boat captain, and they tell it all through the lens of as if this fictional show, Maneater, which is like Deadliest Catch. So there's a narrator talking over and be like, oh, the shark's doing this, blah, 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 blah. But Captain Smithy or whatever the fuck his name is going to stop him. And then Captain Smithy will talk a little bit or whatever. He kills the big shark you're playing as, but finds out that shark's pregnant, pulls out the baby shark, scars it, so he'll always be able to tell which one it is, and tosses it back in the water. Then you take over as that shark, and that's how you start playing and leveling up and, having sharks or creature like alligators are a big threat in the beginning because they're way bigger than you and they're higher level than you. And so it's about this climb through that to become more powerful, to become the apex predator, to exact your revenge on this dude who killed your mom and carved you up and threw you back in the water kind of thing. And the voiceover is really funny for the narrator. I want to say it's one of the guys from SNL, but I actually meant to look at it and I didn't. But it's really funny regardless that as you go through the game and you know how I am about Assassin's Creed and how I would say, like, I love a good Ubisoft game, which is the checklist of, hey, how many things can you do in this game? This game is that with sharks. So it is like, there are license plates to collect. There are random other things to go kill. There are hidden signposts around the game that when you hit, they then tell you a story. Again, in the thing of just like, oh, here's where this thing was built over 16 years and then fell in the water. Like, the narrator's doing it and talking about what you do when you hit big story beats moments for it. All that is a great presentation. It sets up a really fun, interesting world with a lot to do in it. I just don't enjoy the combat portion of it, which is a big part of this game. And I've seen today, with reviews posting and the review embargo being up, like when we were on Kind of Funny Games Daily today, it was a smattering with, I think, PC being highest and PS4 being lowest, but we're hanging right around a 70. And GameSpot, IGN both gave it 7s. And that's where I am too. And I have the same complaint of, the combat isn't polished. It's very frantic. It is frustrating in the way that, like, for smaller stuff, you hit R2 and you swim up and you grab a fish and then you pound R2 to chomp on the fish. But when you're fighting like a big alligator or even the human beings, it's this thing of you'll be locked onto them. You'll come in for it. You'll maybe nick them and then you go past them and then you have to spin the camera around, find them again, do that again. Sometimes you miss for no reason. I didn't think I was getting good feedback on why certain attacks were working, why certain ones weren't. So it just becomes this button mashing of I'm biting, I'm shooting in, I'm smacking with my tail, I'm trying to dodge roll out. And that's, one-on-one, that's fine. But when there's 3 alligators, it's a pain in the ass. When I'm doing the mission, it's got like the Grand Theft Auto system of I'm doing the mission. So I'm, attacking all these people on the beach, which brings up my threat level, which then brings out other hunters to come find me. And so these hunters are like fucking trained marksmen that like are targeting me, and it's like, you know, oh, I gotta dodge roll to get away from them, but as soon as I dodge roll, there's another one doing it, so I'm dodge rolling constantly, trying to get close, trying to jump up and get this thing. It's like, I like the game outside of this. Like I wish the combat was more polished to a point that I felt like I was doing the right things and getting better and enjoying it more. Like, it is this thing of like, when I get into a 1v1 thing, it's like, oh, I can do this, no problem. But when there's a million things up there, a million other guys trying to attack me, it's like, this isn't fun. Like, I'm not enjoying this. I feel like I'm out of control rather than feel like I'm doing crazy things to be in control and finish it off. So for me, it didn't work. And I've seen the entire spectrum where I feel like most of the reviews are right around here. I know Jared Petty and Snow Like Mike have been tweeting about how much they love it. So it's like, it's definitely, the way I described it a little bit to Tim today was like, it reminds me of Octodad in some ways, where you start it and you're like, oh man, what a great idea. And then it's like, well, okay, how long can this go for? Like, I enjoyed Octodad, but I only played like 2 or 3 levels of it where I was like, I don't need to keep doing this. It's kind of, but like Octodad, I felt was, for the most part, forgiving in that, where it was like, that was part of the bit of like, all right, cool, the level's not going to fuck you over. Just get, you know, you keep doing your thing, get the shit and get out. Whereas this one is the thing of like, I'm out of control. I have that much health left. I'm like, fuck, I got to try to swim away, find a fish to eat so this alligator doesn't eat my asshole. Nah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything I've seen and heard about it kind of gives me Goat Simulator vibes. But the thing about Goat Simulator is that Goat Simulator didn't really have a gameplay loop. Like the whole point of Goat Simulator is that you're fucking around the whole time. You're going through like these sandbox open worlds. Yeah. And the whole point of the game is to just fuck about as a goat. Where like Maneater is a game where you're playing as a shark, and like you have combat that you're doing, you have things that you're doing, you have a loop to it. It sounds like that could lead to it being a lot less interesting, especially if the loop isn't satisfying.
Yeah. So for me, it's nowhere near the top 10 of what we've been talking about, what we've been playing. So I mean, comparing it to the games I've played, here's where it gets interesting, where I'm like, I think Mosaic was a better game than Maneater is. Then Zombie Army 4 Dead War is where it's like, where do I want to go with that? Do I think at number 15 is that better? Like, then it's got it. We have my next game after that is it came from Space and Ate Our Brains, which was like a run of the mill, twin stick shooter that I enjoyed. I just didn't feel challenged by. So like, I don't want to go that low, even though I enjoy. When we're doing these rankings, it's like, what would I want to play again, right? And I guess I'd rather play, if I'm being honest, I'd rather play Maneater than Zombie Army 4. So then, it's below it's above Zombie Army 4, putting it at least 15. Biped is above that, which was one of your games. I don't know how you're feeling about my explanation here of the old Maneater.
That's tough,
right. Because
like for all the things that you said that you have wrong with Maneater, like I feel like I can make similar cases for Biped as far as like the things they got right versus the things where it felt like they kind of flubbed it. Like for Biped, the last couple of levels, I just feel like didn't hit the mark for me. But like the overall idea was cool, and the overall execution was there for me.
Okay, then I think it's below it. I think we have to argue.
Yeah, I think there. Yeah, I guess Maneater in that case would be below Biped.
Well, there you go. Maneater enters the list at 15. Sorry, Snowbike Mike. What about you?
So for my 104 game PSN games ranked, I played Superhero X, which Kevin, I have a link.
Was this knockoff as bad as it looked like when we could only find that one trailer?
Craig, this might be the worst video game I've ever played in my life. Like I find it hard to believe you can make a video game worse than this video game. Like I know Life of Black Tiger was a thing, and like I didn't see much gameplay of Life of Black Tiger when that was originally coming out, because I didn't really care to watch gameplay of a bad game. Sure. Kevin, I just sent you the link, but it's
or that was you.
So I went through a whole journey with Superhero X.
I can't wait because like, look like, is it the one? Is it Wolverine's body and Batman's head?
Yes and no. I guess that was the mobile version that they ported to console, possibly, but like I never got to the point where I could get Wolverine's body on Wolverine's head on Spider-Man, whatever the thing was. Yeah, whatever the combination was. I was never able to get to that point. Kevin, is this it? What is this?
That's what you sent me.
Is that what I sent? What did I send you?
I
sent you a link to the PlayStation Store.
Yeah. This is the full screen of the video.
I clicked through too. This is it. This is the start of.
Oh, this is the video. Okay.
You don't want this?
No, go for it. Yeah, no, play this.
Right, stop complaining. All right, let me nap.
Let me see it.
Is it not like a 1080? Oh, never mind. You're right. It is. Is it?
Superhero X rated T. Oh no.
Yeah. So this is the gameplay, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah. So this is a 2.5D fighting game where the theme is supposed to be like your superheroes and you're fighting. That's really the extent of it. Like, there's not really much of a story.
Okay.
There's not really much of an explanation of what's going on.
Is that Megamind?
That looks like Megamind, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like a very knockoff Megamind. Create your own fighter.
Versus.
So yeah, more fighting going on.
Girl 19.
So notice how like they're moving left and right, but their feet aren't like moving.
Yeah, no.
Like they're basically gliding around. And somehow,
is that Black Panther?
We're watching we're watching footage of very bad gameplay.
Oh man, I didn't cut
somehow
out
the
footage,
gameplay when you're actually playing it is worse.
Jesus,
like
God.
none of this feels right as you're doing it. I swear to God, I pressed triangle and my character did like 3 different things each time. Like, there's no consistency as to like how the game controls. You get like no sense of consistency from like health being drained or anything. Like, everything feels so just like plastered together and just like just thrown together that it I don't understand how they got to the PS Store with this game, to the PlayStation Store with this game. I don't understand how this is a thing that is being sold. Also, my journey toward playing this game, I should mention, right? Like, because for these games, usually I'll try and reach out for a code or try to see if I can contact somebody. For maybe a good 30 minutes to an hour, I tried to like search and figure out who makes this game. Basically, the thing I came down to was this game was developed by where is it? I'm on the PS Store page right now. XOXO Games LLC, which I believe is one dude. I couldn't find an email. I couldn't find anything. All I found was a LinkedIn page for the guy. And so like there was really no way to contact him. I then ended up finding, after doing like much more research, which if I was to try and pull it up now, I probably couldn't. I found the website for XOXO Games.
Okay.
And the website's also broken. Like, the website is also so bad that it just doesn't function. Gotcha. And so I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not going to request a code. Instead, I'll just buy the game. The game is $30. It's a $30 game. Oh. Which I actually felt bad about spending because, like, looking at the trailer, I was like, this game might possibly break my PS4. Like, this game doesn't look like it's supposed to be here.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so upon like starting up the game and upon playing the game, like I said, you can create your own character. It's superhero themed. The thing that got me though is that there are 5 different movesets that you can choose from, and they're all martial art styles. And so like you start off with the first 2 unlocked already, and those styles being like things like boxing and like some other martial art style I can't remember, but like things that definitely have nothing to do with being a superhero. There's not really much customization in your moveset for a game that is all about like create your own 2.5D fighter. Like, legit, every single feature and every single like thing I tried to do in this game went wrong somehow. And so like that's my whole review of this game. It's the worst video game I've ever played in my life.
All right, wow, fuck, dude. Is it so? It's the bottom of the list then.
Yeah, it's number 39.
Okay, 39. Everybody, Superhero X. God damn. You took a chance on that one, and it didn't pay off.
No, it did not. It did not pay off at all. In fact, I need to figure out how to expense this thing.
No, we won't be reimbursing that. Don't worry about it. It's time to pick next week's poison, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the drop right now over on the PlayStation blog, where Justin from the PlayStation Blogcast has listed it. Blessing, it is an even day. Because, of course, we're recording on Friday, meaning you get to pick this week, number 1. I'll start the read. Atomicrops comes to PlayStation 4 digitally out May 28th. Modern city life got you down? Well, you've just inherited your late uncle's farm. Time to pack your bags and start fresh in the peaceful countryside. What could possibly go wrong? A nuclear apocalypse, that's what. Now you're in a hellscape wasteland defending the last surviving source of sustenance, your crops. And every mutant wants a piece.
Bug Fables is coming to PS4 digital out May 28th. Follow V, Cabu, and Leaf as they uncover the secrets of the land of Bulgaria. Explore and combine your team's abilities to solve puzzles, defeat powerful enemies, and find ancient treasures.
Castle Pals comes to PlayStation 4 digitally. One night, Kylie and Owen stumble upon creepy Castle Pukapik and decide to uncover its secrets. Nothing could possibly go wrong, could it? Play as two different characters. Punch your way through enemies with Kylie and fly above your enemies while avoiding traps as Owen.
Genetic Disaster is coming out on PS4 digital. Absurd guns, crazy characters, instant fun, and accidental friendly fire in this co-op action game. Upgrade your hero to build your own gameplay style and combine different ones to create the perfect team if you play with friends. Don't feel like cooperating? A special PvP arena is also available. The game's motto, quote, cooperate, but not too much.
Hotel R&R comes to PlayStation VR digitally May 28th. Hotel R&R is the gonzo VR rockstar simulator that encourages bad behavior. Sell your soul to the devil, smash up hotel rooms, and become infamous. Pressure from hotel staff and your own limp wrists are against you, but with over 36 weapons and a world tour ahead of you, it's time to get creative.
Let's Sing 2020 is coming to PS4 digital. It all begins with the first tone. Sing as a solo superstar or perform with your crew and friends to rock every party. Let's Sing 2020 offers a great variety and has hits for everyone.
Okay. Little Misfortune comes to PlayStation 4 digitally May 29th. Little Misfortune is an interactive story focused on exploration and characters, both sweet and dark, where your choices have consequences. Led by her new friend, Mr. Voice, they venture into the woods where mysteries are unraveled and a little bit of bad luck unfolds. Just a little.
Many Faces is coming to PS4 digital. Make the Many Face King pay for waking you from your beauty sleep. Many Faces is a multi-directional shooter inspired by arcade classics, combining single-screen action with randomized stages that will constantly keep you on your toes.
Minecraft Dungeons comes to PlayStation 4. Fight your way through all-new action-adventure game inspired by classic dungeon crawlers and set in the Minecraft universe. The Hero Edition includes a hero cape, 2 player skins, and a chicken pet. It also includes 2 DLC packs when they become available.
Greg, Pawn Quest is going to PS4 digital.
You're not getting me again.
I mean, we've read the description on the show. Do we want to read it?
I mean, like, remember, the idea with Pawn Quest is I didn't pick another game last week, so I still need to do Pawn Quest. So if Pawn Quest really comes out, it is going to happen, but I have to pick one in addition this week as well.
Perfect. So Pawn Quest, there you go.
All right, Rune Lord, PlayStation 4 digitally. A portal has opened and dark magic is pouring through. Only you can close the gateway and defeat the evil ice golem, but you need to hurry. Time is short.
Shantae and the Seven Sirens coming to PS4 digital. Shantae is back in an all-new tropical adventure. In her 5th outing, the half-genie hero gains new fusion magic abilities to explore a vast sunken city, makes new half-genie friends, and battles the Seven Sirens in her biggest, most thrilling quest yet.
Those Who Remain comes out to PlayStation 4 digitally May 28th. As the lights go out, the embers of darkness are stoked in the sleepy town of Dormont. Confront uncomfortable horrors, keep your sanity in check, and survive the night in this story-driven first-person psychological thriller.
Oh, this is the name. Let me sound it out. Utawa Rirumono, Prelude to the Fallen. It's coming to PS4 and PS Vita. Discover the first chapter of a tale years in the making. Hakuolo, a man with no memories, must find his place in a strange new world and embrace the destiny that awaits him.
And finally, Wizards, Wand of Epicosity. It's like epic, but epicosity. PlayStation 4 digitally May 27th. When the Wizard of Darkness awakened, it was up to one man to defeat him. When that man was accidentally killed by one idiot, Tobuscus, the responsibility of becoming an awesome wizard fell on him by default. Blessing, Adeoye Jr.
So, Greg, you mentioned that it's an even one, but are we doing this by episode numbers? Wouldn't this be you if this is episode 21?
Oh, are we? I thought we did it by the date.
Why did we do it by the date? It's even and odd by episodes numbers.
I thought it was by the date. I thought we did it by the date. I don't know.
So you were thinking May 22nd.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, next one.
You guys are idiots too. That means you guys are idiots too, because every time I've said it, it's lined up and no one's questioned me, I guess.
It's just lined up.
You're so dumb. I hate you.
It probably hasn't lined up at times and no one's called me on it. So you can
I've definitely called you on the even odd thing.
Oh, man. I wasn't prepared. Well, I mean, I feel like I've painted myself in my corner with my own dumb rules, right? Where Minecraft Dungeons is a game I've been excited about for a while, so I can't pick it. Period. I've said that. I won't change it. Pawn Quest, I gotta play. There's a bunch of interesting things, but you want to know what's really calling my name? Rune Lord.
What's that? Oh,
it just looks like Puzzle Quest. Like you look, I mean, I'm going off the graphic.
Oh yeah,
it looks like it's just a yeah. Here you go, Rune Lord gameplay on YouTube, made with Unity. Yeah, I'm just matching colors. It's just a match 3 thing. So I mean,
there's not many ways that can go wrong.
Yeah, but it's kind of a crappy. I don't want to just like. I mean, I'm interested in match 3 games, but what next week I'm going to tell you it's a match 3 game. You kind of already know. You know what I mean? If it works, you like it. Those who remain sounds interesting. As the lights go out, the embers of darkness are stoked in the sleepy town of Dormont. Confront uncomfortable horrors, keep your sanity in check, and survive the night in this story-driven first-person psychological thriller. I probably wouldn't play all the way through it. Little Misfortune sounds interesting. I mean, I'm an idiot. Let's Sing sound interesting. I don't like the VR games that are just smash it. So Hotel R&R doesn't really do it for me. Oh,
this week is kind of not doing it for me as a whole. If I'm being honest.
I'm gonna do Rune Lord. I'm gonna stick with my guns. Do Rune Lord. I let the gameplay roll over here. There's apparently cards, so it's more than just matching 3. There's stuff going on.
I'm gonna go with Castle Pads or Castle Pals. That's the one where you're playing as 2 different characters in Castle Pukapik. I like the fact that at this point I couldn't tell you what genre this game is, and so like I'm mainly picking it so I could be surprised. Because this game has like a fun personality.
Yeah, you are definitely not afraid to dive in. You just dive in all the way. You know what I mean? You're not worried about what's going to happen.
Nothing else here is speaking to me. Like Hotel R&R, like I'm not in the mood really to hook up my VR. Sure. And then Let's Sing. Like I'm not gonna sing right now. I'm not gonna sing in my room alone.
Nothing to sing about, huh?
Now, do you want me to show you what Castle Palace looks like, or?
Yes, please.
Here we go.
I would like to see it.
Now, this might be a phone version of it.
Yes, this is. Yeah, I was gonna say this is a touchscreen iOS version.
But
of
it.
I mean, it already looks.
That doesn't matter.
It looks better than Superhero X already, and so I'm into it.
I don't know if it can get worse than Superhero X.
I can't believe I spent $30 on that.
Blessing Adeoye Jr. To close out this episode of PS I Love You XOXO, let's blow the dust off an old segment we call PlayStation's Greatest Hits. When we started here, you said for 10 episodes, we should go through and talk about the PlayStation Game of the Year from each decade, or to round out the decade here, right? So we started in 2010, and we've now come to 2018, meaning we've taken a bunch of weeks off, but we're almost there, right? Right now, the PlayStation's Greatest Hits we've assembled look like this. For 2010, you picked Heavy Rain. I picked Peace Walker. For 2011, I picked Uncharted 3. You picked Portal 2. For 2012, it was unanimous. We picked Persona 4 Golden. For 2013, I picked The Last of Us. You picked GTA 5. 2014, we both picked South Park, The Stick of Truth. 2015, we both picked Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. 2016, you picked Overwatch like a weirdo, and I picked Uncharted 4. And then 2017, you picked Nier. I picked Horizon. We have now
You do know Overwatch has a 10 out of 10 on IGN. I don't think Uncharted 4 has that.
Well, you know what? They just had to go ahead and go back in time and fix that score. And I'm waiting for Simon Cardy to do the right thing and re-review Predator Hunting Grounds because he gave that one a bums deal too, and I don't want it.
Fair.
Right now, here's the competition for 2018, a great year in gaming. God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, Far Cry 5, Black Ops 4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Detroit Become Human, Celeste, Tetris Effect, Astrobot, Beat Saber, Moss, Firewall, Zero Hour. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to ruin what's the best year for gaming. It was 2018. You should still go watch the Gamescast and see me get downvoted and outvoted on it, but it was 2018. Did you just hear that list of fucking games?
I didn't realize you loved Far Cry 5 that much.
Oh my God, it was such a cool thing of taking on America and not being able to travel 4 fucking feet without something attacking you in that game.
God, I hated that aspect of it. That's like actually the thing that made me drop off because I just wanted to. I just wanted to do my thing.
No problem. You start going to fucking these Yahoos.
Yeah, then you see like 5 pickup trucks, and it's like, yo, where did you even come from? God, this. So I mean, this one isn't too difficult for me, but
it's not
it did kind of pain me to not choose a couple of these. Like,
because the answer is God of War.
The answer is God of War.
There we go.
But I really wanted to like go with Spider-Man or Astrobot. Mainly Spider-Man though, because Spider-Man for me is a game that hit all the right notes for me. Totally. Right, like that's a game that if you want to talk about like a game I was looking forward to and a game that delivered, like Spider-Man did that more so than any other game that year. Right, like God of War, I wasn't looking forward to it. God of War, I wasn't looking forward to as much as Spider-Man. Because because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. Spider-Man 2 on PS2 is one of my favorite games. I was looking forward to the revival of that. Like everything going into Spider-Man 2, I was ready for and I was hyped for. And for Spider-Man, or not Spider-Man 2, the Spider-Man 2018, when Spider-Man finally came out and we finally got to play it, like they made the best Spider-Man game they possibly could. Like they hit it on all aspects, like the swinging, the combat, everything. Every portion of that game worked the way it should. Like I have very few complaints with that game, and those complaints really are the things that kind of hold me back from saying that this game can touch God of War. Like not Act 3, I guess the end of Act 2, maybe going into Act 3 in Spider-Man wasn't necessarily my jam. But that's like about it. Like everything else in Spider-Man was pretty pristine. But yeah, God of War, we talked about it all earlier in the episode.
Like, I know, right? It's actually timely that it actually came in this way, right?
Yeah. Such an incredible game. Like if you want to talk about, especially if you want to talk about PlayStation and what has characterized PlayStation over the last generation, what we keep talking about, what we've especially been talking about over the last 2 episodes of the third person action adventure narrative game. God of War, like, is that, but like it does it better than any of the other PlayStation exclusives. Like even as I was talking about it with Last of Us, and how now that I'm replaying Last of Us, like I'm thinking about God of War, and I'm thinking about like, oh yeah, God of War did kind of take it to the next level. If you want to talk about presentation, you want to talk about reinventing a character and reinventing a world, God of War took that, knocked it out of the park. You want to talk about a narrative that feels personal and that feels it delivers by the time everything's said and done. By the time you get to the ending, you feel like everything's wrapped up in a way that you feel satisfaction with it, right? Like God of War did that on all accounts.
And that's the thing is, I think 2018 was such an awesome year, and there's so many games to make an argument for, right? Like I think you can make the argument for Spider-Man. I think you can make the argument for Monster Hunter World. I didn't appreciate Red Dead Redemption 2 like so many did, but I could make the argument for it. Like it's a work of art, right? It's something special, and the list goes on like that. Especially when we look at like VR stuff, Astrobot, right? Beat Saber. Like these are fucking incredible games and an incredible year. But there's a reason God of War is my favorite game of all time, and I think it's because it's hands down the best of that year, let alone I think of what I've played. And glancing back like we did earlier in the show to watch some of the cutscenes and see how good they look in the framing of it, to have those memories attached to it of going and getting the blades, going through and experiencing that story for the ending in general, right? And the revelations made there, or going back to your house after you beat the game. Like it's a game that is relentless, you know what I mean? Like it's a game that keeps on going and it's pacing, but it never felt overwhelming. It never felt like it was too much. I felt like it, it's similar when I talk about Back to the Future, the movie, and in review, where I'm like, not a line of dialogue is wasted in that. I don't feel like there's a moment of gameplay wasted in God of War, or in cutscenes for that matter. Like none of it doesn't waste your time. It's jam packed. It's filled to the brim with awesome action, awesome side missions, awesome narrative, awesome like just having the head talk to you as you go in the stories it tells. Like God of War is a different class of video.
Yeah. And the game doesn't ever get too greedy in terms of trying to do too much, right? Like it never introduces a character that doesn't matter to the story. Like you feel like every single character in God of War matters to some extent, and you get character development with Kratos, with Atreus, with I don't want to name every single character because I don't want to like spoil things, even though I guess we've spoiled God of War already in this episode. But yeah, like the shopkeepers, right? Like Brock and Sindri. There's all the characters they introduce, they do such a good job of by the end of the game, all those characters have turned into a different character. Like all those characters have had development.
Yeah.
Blessing, what is the name of Kratos' son?
Atreus?
Atreus?
Yeah. Whatever.
I'm not. I know.
It's just interesting because they say his name.
I pronounce things like, I don't know, man. I think it's a thing where
we all do. I eat sandwiches. You know what I mean?
I see the words when I say them. And so like I'm not even thinking about like the way I've heard them. I'm thinking about the way that like it's spelled as I say it. Atreus.
Say it one more time.
Atreus.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can, of course, ask us questions, support the show, get the post show we're about to do after all this. But more importantly, for right now, you can submit your PSN profile for our perusal. Today, Nick from SoCal did and says, "Welp, having just earned my 10,000th trophy, seems like a perfect time to submit my PSN because after this month, I'm dodging not just TLU spoilers, but reviews and impressions as well. Thanks for the years of background noise for all the Powagi/Pitcross games, and until who knows when, it's been my pleasure to have been served." I appreciate that, Nick, just going off the grid to avoid all sorts of Last of Us stuff. Of course, Nick's PSN name, I don't know why I say of course, you wouldn't know that, is Rare Gamer 45. You jump over here to PSN Profiles, and yes, Rare Gamer 45 is a level 52 in trophies, currently celebrating 10,002 trophies. Get this, Bless, 284 platinums.
Jesus.
That's nothing to shake a stick at. You might say, how? Much like a man after my own heart here, Rare Gamer 45 does all the crappy trophies. He's got Music Eraser, Dragon Fantasy, Volumes of Wisteria, then Read 2, then Read 2 on Vita, Suicide Guys.
Oh, yeah. Scrolling through these games is a lot less impressive.
Yeah, hey man, that's how you do it. If you're gonna put up that amount of number, if you're gonna have 284, you are gonna pad it out with Rush Rover again. There's Random Heroes Gold Edition, Rando Heroes Gold Edition again. Yeah, he's doing it. Just a Phrase by Powagi, Just a Phrase by Powagi, Linkapix Deluxe. Like, you were a trophy whore after my own heart. I'm very proud. Oh my god,
I'm recognizing very few of these games.
I didn't even realize there were so many Powagi games. Because he's got Linkapix, he's got Just a Phrase by Powagi, and then he's got the second one of the same thing. Then he's got Word Maze by Powagi, Then he's got Tic Tac Letters by Powagi, I see what you're up to here, and I like it.
I went from being impressed to being very unimpressed to now like I'm back at impressed again, like going through these games because like the amount of games he's playing just for the trophies, like. I couldn't imagine doing this. Like I couldn't imagine sitting down and being like, I'm gonna play Devious Dungeon 2 twice so I can get these trophies. Along with Awesome P and I and Me and Crossovers by Pogi.
But I mean, to his credit again, he has The Last of Us Platinum. You know what I mean? He's got I see Uncharted 3 and I see Uncharted 2. Like it's not like he's just playing the crap ones. He's playing good games and then layering on the crap ones, which I respect. God, how many fucking games did Powagi put out? I didn't even realize there was this many. Good God.
Word search. Word Sudoku.
I will say I listed a couple good ones, and now I'm struggling to find another good one.
Yeah. Like the vast majority of these games are like I don't recognize a vast majority of these games.
Yeah. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I appreciate that. Crash 2, Crash Bandicoot. Okay. Sound Shapes, nice. Golden Abyss. That's not the shake a stick at. You know what I mean? All right, you're a psychopath, Nick from SoCal, but we appreciate what you did, and we look forward to seeing you when you could feel safe to read or listen to us talk about anything but The Last of Us again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been PS I Love You, XOXO, episode 21. Remember, each and every week, Blessing and I come together to give you your PlayStation podcast. If you like that, be part of it. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You get the show ad-free. Submit your questions. Submit your PSN name. You can also, of course, get the post show we're about to do. If you have no bucks to toss away, it's no big deal. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, podcast services around the globe each and every Tuesday morning. Even when there's a holiday that's competing with our schedule, we'll make sure you get the podcast you so deserve. Blessing, any things to say before we go to the post show?
Stay healthy. Wash your hands still. Don't stop. Keep watching them. Keep watching them.
That's a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.